Yeah. Okay, good evening, folks, and welcome inside the American Bank Center for the start of this 8-game homestand. You're listening to IceRays Hockey on the IceRays Broadcast Network on HockeyTV.com and on YouTube tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on your Thursday night, folks. My name is Alex Von Coyle. We're glad to have you with us. Well, tonight ties the longest the Rays have gone without playing a game since the season started. It's been 12 days since they've hit the ice. The last time they took a 12-day hiatus was over the holiday break. It was exactly that long. What prefaced it was a 7-3 stomping over the Odessa Jackalopes on the road. 12 days later, they would return to action at the American Bank Center on Thursday, December 28th, and end up hanging right with the Shreveport Mudbugs, besting them 2-1 in overtime here at the ABC. We're in a bit of a similar situation tonight. They're returning from Odessa. They're playing at home after a 12-day break, and they're hosting a very strong team. Tonight, they will square off against the Lone Star Brahmas. And, folks, before heading into the bye week last weekend, the IceRays had played 2 consecutive series in which they dropped the ball. The first game, they were defeated 6-2 in each of those first 2 contests in the previous 2 series before the off weekend. But they would respond both times with a very hard-fought, scrappy, low-scoring victory the following nights. During each of those defeats, the team was off to a rocky start, began to turn the tide, but conceded a momentum-shifting goal to slash their hopes at a comeback. But in both second games, the Rays competed a full 60+ against the top 2 teams in the division in Shreveport and Odessa, and they would end up taking a victory from each of those series despite a rough start. Tonight they play against the 3rd-ranked team in the South Division, the Lone Star Brahmas, and they'll be hoping to get off to a stronger start to this series than they have in the previous 2. You'll hear the IceRays head coach Brad Flynn talk about that and so much more during the Flynn review in our first intermission. Looking at tonight's matchup in greater detail, the Lone Star Brahmas made no moves whatsoever at the trade deadline, which was a little bit surprising. Their biggest move was already made about a month prior to the deadline. They sent Austin O'Rourke and Jared Doman to the Amarillo Bulls. In exchange, they got John Russell and Stephen Ipri, both of whom have not disappointed. Without question, that trade has worked out for the Brahmas so far. It sort of seems to have been a win on all fronts. The Bulls liking what they're seeing out of O'Rourke and Doman as well, but Lone Star, my goodness, you can't argue with facts and figures. And folks, Austin O'Rourke, John Russell and Stephen Ipri have both more than lived up to their end of the bargain since coming aboard in early January, just a couple of days after New Year's, to join the Lone Star Brahmas. And in their last matchup against the IceRays, they both played extremely well. John Russell tallied a hat trick that night. That was on the road at Nitech Sports Center back on Saturday, December 9th, the last time the Rays and the Brahmas met, Saturday, January 6th, the last time the Brahmas and IceRays met up with one another. And Russell got a hat trick. Ipri added 2 assists to his total as well. Lone Star coming off of a very convincing series win, a sweep over Topeka on home ice last weekend after the series in Topeka was canceled on a Monday and Tuesday night. So that was supposed to be the weekend after Lone Star's Alaska trip, the likes of which they went 2-2. They lost a game in regulation against Fairbanks, then would lose in the shootout, and they won 2 in Kenai to sweep the Brown Bears in Alaska before coming back to the mainland. However, the IceRays have played the Brahmas very well in their last few contests against them. That last game they played back on January 6th was an anomaly. It was an outlier. The last 6 games the IceRays have played against the Brahmas, they've taken a point in all of them except for that one. They're 4-1-1 against the Brahmas over their last 6 meetings, and that one regulation defeat was their last matchup. It was 5-1. At Nitech Sports Center, where they will not return for the remainder of this regular season. The Rays took 3 points out of 4 from the series in which they last hosted the Lone Star Brahmas here at the American Bank Center. That coming back on Friday, November 17th, Saturday, November 18th, winning 4-2 the first night, dropping the next one in the shootout by a 4-3 decision. So the bye week came at a pretty good time, folks. The IceRays were starting to get bruised and battered in a long season like this, where bye weeks and off weekends are so few and far between. You can never have enough of them, especially in a division that's so grueling as this one. So many players were beginning to find themselves plagued by the injury bug. Chad Veltri, Matt Acioli, AJ DeCesar, Ryan Rosenberg, and others. Not playing at anywhere near 100%. Trevor Wilhelm also missing his first game all season long last weekend against Odessa, and he is back at 100% and ready to go. He is in the lineup for tonight. So that off weekend, I'd be hard-pressed to find a better, more opportune time at which that came. The IceRays took full advantage of that. You'll also hear Coach Flynn talk about that as well during the first intermission report. About what some of the things that he and his team focused on during that 12-day time period in which they were off. Last time they had an off weekend, they played extremely well the following game. They beat Shreveport, the first-place team in the league at the time, by a 2-1 final in this building. And now they've added a couple of new pieces to the puzzle after the trade deadline. Sure, everyone has seen or heard by now, but the IceRays have added a couple of players to their roster. And normally at the trade deadline, teams are given a status of either, well, are they buyers or are they sellers? The IceRays didn't really have a label per se. They did a little bit of both. CJ Regula, I'm sure everyone's aware now, he was sent to the Minnesota Wilderness in exchange for a tender and a second-round draft pick that might be conditional. It's not clear, but if I'm not mistaken, it's a second-round pick. And the IceRays also went out and acquired Grayson Gavin from the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. He will be making his IceRays debut tonight, sporting the number 18 for Corpus Christi. We'll see what he can do. He will be centering a line with Brendan Miller and Larry Youngworth, so he's in good hands between the two of them. And not only will he be playing tonight, he will be starting, spoiler alert, for your Corpus Christi IceRays. Not only did they acquire Grayson Gavin, they went out and got Adam Kadlick, who's got a tremendous amount of experience, especially considering his young age. He's just 18 years old. Kadlick cleared the USHL waivers, and he is expected to play most likely tomorrow night, but he just arrived in Corpus Christi a couple of hours ago. Brendan Miller being announced right now by Pudge Aradias, your public address announcer. He skates out onto the ice, the IceRays captain, who was just celebrating his 21st birthday this past week. And Grayson Gavin, for the first time, skates onto the American Bank Center ice to prepare for a game. If you don't count warm-ups, of course. Larry Youngworth will be his right winger. He is just 2 goals away from tying Brad Power for third in the all-time IceRays goal-scoring list in a single season. He's got 22. If he gets to 24, he'll be tied for third in franchise history of goals scored in a single season. Matt Acioli and Blake Coffey starting on defense tonight for your Corpus Christi IceRays. Challenging to find a more skilled defensive pair in this league than those two. Jacob Acton, who has been so good in Chad Veltry's absence. He has played it every single minute since Veltry went down. He has earned the right to start tonight for Corpus Christi. Jake Acton on the season against Lone Star. Really has only played 20 minutes. This is his first start against the Brahmas. The only time he got any time against the Brahmas was coming in relief of Chad Veltry in the third period back at Nitec Sports Center about a month ago. And he's getting his first start. So we'll see what he can do to shut down the third place Lone Star Brahmas, who themselves are going with Austin Buttrell, Tour Linden, and Julian Biondo up front, and Drew Lennon, Connor Stewart on defense, and Mitchell Gibson, their go-to goaltender, in net. The IceRays mascot, Stinger Ray, today is celebrating his 20th birthday, and he is partaking in our ceremonial puck drop, brought to you by UniFirst. Stinger Ray's got all of his buddies here tonight to celebrate his 20th birthday. And now we get set for the singing of our country's national anthem down at center ice here at the ABC. Puck drop is next. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. Wow, what an outstanding job done riling this crowd up one last time. It's a Thursday night here at the American Bank Center Fan Appreciation Night. We know it's a school night and it's a work night, so we had to come up with some sort of incentive to get the folks out here to the ABC. $2 tickets at the door tonight, $2 post-game skating as well. And on top of all of that, it is Stinger Ray's 20th birthday. We're having a raffle and some giveaways as well. A team autograph stick, a Cats 21 gift card, and so much more. IceRays Brahmas opening faceoff just moments away. Let's take a look at our Ed Hicks Nissan 3 keys of tonight's game. Number one, effort in the faceoff circle. Lone Star, very much known as a team that battles each and every shift and each and every face-off. That's how it all starts. That's how the shifts start. That's how possession starts. And if the IceRays don't compete in the face-off dot, they won't have too much of a chance here tonight. That's going to be one of the keys of tonight's game, no question. Number two, watching the Russell line. John Russell and Stephen Ipri both had very good games the last times they played against the IceRays, and last weekend as well. They both had outstanding performances. And number three, playing like they were just beaten 6-2 that's been a recipe for success for the IceRays. The second game of those series, the last two series, they've played outstanding hockey against both the Shreveport Mudbugs and the Odessa Jackalopes, respectively. So playing this game like it's a game 2 of sorts is your third and final Ed Hicks Nissan 3 keys of tonight's game. This first period of IceRays hockey is brought to you by First Title Company. As Cam Dykstra had his arm up momentarily, put it back down. No icing will be called here, as it's taken now by Blake Coffey behind the Corpus Christi net and flung out to Brendan Miller at center ice right in front of the penalty boxes. Intercepted by Michael Montembeau, who starts it in across the line. That's Russell, rather. This pass is outside of the reach of Adamo. It went on net, sticked aside by Jacob Acton. 50 seconds have expired here in period 1. We're scoreless at the ABC. One shot belonging to Lone Star, and the Rays flip the puck out of their own zone. Brendan Miller's got it on the left side, and he will dribble one into the Lone Star end. Mitchell Gibson steers it aside, and now it's Wyatt Matthews shoveling one out past his own blue line. Connor Yanni intercepting at center and swing one D over to Kalen Taylor. Taylor drills it right back in. McCary steals it, shoots at the empty net, and Mitchell Gibson was out of his net behind it to try to make a play. I think if McCary's shot had a little more gas on it, it might have gone in. I don't think he was suspecting that would be the case. As Trezera steps into the left corner to battle for possession against Kalen Taylor and Connor Yanni. It's moved up to the line for Jakob Sirota, who misfired on his shot, coming off a South Division second star of the week performance. Right point bid gets blocked by a lot of bodies standing in front of Acton, and it's shoveled high and off the glass and down into the right corner it goes. This will be icing against Corpus Christi as Zenas retreats to play it. And icing is brought to you by Hard Knocks Bar and Grill, as we're a minute and 45 seconds into game number 43 here for the IceRays. For the Brahmas, it's game number 39. And the ensuing faceoff will be to Jacob Acton's right. Stephen Ipri stepping in against Garrett Halford in the circle. And the puck drops. Halford with a nice job done on the win. And Kalen Taylor sends it around. Sirota keeping it alive for the time being at the point. Noah Roof was elbowed, no call. As Ipri makes a nice pass to Russell, who fires. It gets blocked, and Halford is there to collect the rebound. A nice block made by Kalen Taylor. That's a good range for John Russell. He can definitely score from there. And Taylor not being afraid to put his body in the way of that hard, heavy wrist shot. We're going to get a penalty for a hand pass, it looks like, as Halford was upended and fell down near the faceoff down at center ice. And they're going to have to drop this puck again. Faceoff will be in front of the Lone Star bench. Anton Sandberg will send it D for Wyatt Matthews. Good step by Rosenberg on Connor Pooley. The IceRays having difficulty moving it forward. Pletzky in pursuit of it now in the right corner in the IceRays zone. Puck goes off a knee. Pletzky takes it over and sends one into the middle. Nice interception by Wilhelm to jab it aside back into the corner in the direction from which it came. And Pletzky now out-muscled by Halford in the far corner rather than the near corner. And Wilhelm will collect it now behind his own net. Has to slip away from Rosenberg and feeds it up through center for Garrett Halford. Halford was checked while trying to clear it into the offensive zone. Manages to do so on the second effort. Fire wagon line change by the IceRays underway now. Flung out to Tour Linden. He steps in, right circle, fires, missed the net. So it rattles off the glass out to the neutral zone, and Petrell will guide it on back. Nearly stolen by Matt Novo. Left off for Korshkov, stepping in, firing. Goes off a knee and deflects wide. Angled off the wall, back to Coffey, right point. Headed over DDD for Matt Acioli, who will just chip one into the left corner. Novo wheels one around the wall. Stepping in, Blake Coffey to try to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Takes a strange bounce off of a stanchion, but the Brahmas have cleared it. Now it's rolling at center ice, and Novo is sandwiched between a couple of Brahmas and Biondo and Petrell. 3.5 minutes have expired here at the ABC. No score between the IceRays and the Lone Star Brahmas. IceRays on your screen in their home whites, skating from right to left. And the visiting Brahmas in their road blacks, skating from left to right. Nice backhand pass up to Pavel Korshkov, who will fire it in from center ice, and a 100-foot save is made with the blocker of Mitchell Gibson. And now it's Trevor Zenas feeding one up through the middle of the ice on the right side of it. And now it's Zenas shoveling it past Wilhelm. Rosenberg retreating and feeding one around the boards. Wilhelm. Good stick by Zenas to break up the pass that was intended for Brendan Miller. And here comes Zenas across the blue line. Gave it over to the right side for Montembeau, whose shot was blocked en route to the goal. And Wilhelm able to advance it past Trezera. Wobbles up to Larry Youngworth, and down his off wing he will skate before hay-bailing it on Gibson's net. Adamo skates out with it. He will pace down the left wing side. Adamo passed one off the skates of Montembeau. Follows up. Big rebound given up by Acton, but it was fired wide by Drew Lennon. And now Grayson Gavin will send it into the near corner where Taylor, with help of Miller, has cleared it. The IceRays could get a 2-on-2 developing here. Gavin left side, cutting into the slot, firing. Gets blocked by Stephen Ipre's skate. And it pinballs into the near half wall. Fed off, Ipre skates again, and he will pursue it left side. Shoots from a tough angle. Acton will pounce on the rebound. He's got plenty of time, decides to play it out to Angus Scott. He had more time than he thought he did, and his teammates convinced him to play it. He listened. Connor Yanni with possession now behind his own net. Yanni to Kalen Taylor. Yanni leading all IceRays in blocked shots this season by a long shot. Sirota, point-to-point pass. Hallbauer shot, tipped on goal, stopped by Acton. Nice save in the butterfly on the redirect. We're going to take a timeout on the IceRays Broadcast Network. Please enjoy a few words from our sponsors, Get Air. We'll be right back, folks.
Air is Corpus Christi's newest place for fun. 30,000 square feet of trampoline park with foam pits, slam ball, a ninja course, and dodgeball. A place to let your inner spirit soar. Show you've got game. Harness your inner ninja and burn up the competition. For parties from 5 to 500, kids, corporate, and adult team building, it's the #1 place for fun in Corpus Christi. Get out. Get active. Get Air. 4701 South Staple Street in Corpus Christi.
Tonight's referee is Robert Babcock IV. The linesmen are Cam Dykstra and Michael Miggins. Miggins, a name we haven't seen too often this season either. Both goaltenders perfect so far with 5.5 minutes gone by at the ABC. 6 shots, 4 favoring Lone Star. To the IceRays 2. Gibson 2 for 2, Acton 4 for 4, including a nice butterfly save on that deflection. Lone Star's most recent shot on goal. Tor Linden will take the offensive zone faceoffs to Acton's left side for Dan Wildfong. He's countered by Angus Scott. The puck drops. Scott wins the draw. Coffey motors out the left wing. Nice no-look backhand pass by Riley St. Ange. Scott put it over the line for Matt Acioli, who will shovel it behind the Lone Star goal line. Hammered around by Wyatt Matthews. The boards are still shaking behind Gibson's net. And the puck creeps out to center ice. Blake Coffey retreating to play it back up the wall. Now Scott gets it near the red line on the right wing in front of the benches. He chips it into the adjacent corner. Matthews pursuing it. Harassed by Julian McCary. Acioli holds the line at the left point and skates all the way down behind the goal line. Acioli saucered a pass to Angus Scott, who will shovel it back off the half wall, angling it perfectly to Coffey, but his shot is off target. Acioli steps in again. Feeds it around the boards clockwise. 2 Brahmas versus 2 IceRays on the far half wall. Coffey with a good keep. Walks into the deep slot. Takes a slap shot and scores! Blake Coffey with a howitzer from the line. A 55-foot bullet through a screen. Beat Mitchell Gibson upstairs over his blocker, and the IceRays have a 1-0 lead. That's Coffey's 6th goal of the season. He was the IceRays' most recent goal scorer before this game. He scored the overtime game winner on his 20th birthday 2 weekends ago in Odessa on Saturday to split the series, and he gets another one just moments ago. Excellent, heavy slap shot. Gibson never saw it until it was too late. So Scott and St. Ange on the assists. Coffey with the goal, his 6th of the year, leading all IceRays defensemen in that category. And against the Brahmas this season, that's his third, so half of his goals this year have come against Lone Star. Alford intercepts the puck at center ice. Good check by Rosenberg, but he's caught a little bit now at center. He retreats to get back in behind his own goal line and defend the Brahmas here as Roof tries to jam it up the wall, goes up in the air. Zenas gloves it down, hacked out by Roof. Nice play. Demizio trying to jab it further. Roof cuts in. He's got Halford on his right. Roof with a pass. Halford has it on his stick, can't pull the trigger as Lennon took away his real estate nicely. Now Demizio outnumbered and behind the goal line again. Second effort able to jam it up to Noah Roof. Squeaks past him, not far enough to get to Wilhelm. Zenas intercepting before it got there. And Drew Lennon will lead the rush for Lone Star. He puts on the brakes and just plays it deep. 12:23 to go here in period number one. Blake Coffey, your lone goal scorer tonight. 1-0 IceRays as Justin Adamo turned the puck over. And Halford and his pass, what was intended for Demizio, intercepted by Justin Adamo, and the 6'6" Frenchman will just clear it. Taylor off the boards with it. Novo's got it on the right wing. Novo tried to trickle the pass through a couple of Brahmas. One of them broke it up. Adamo did it again. Ipri at center. Sprung one ahead, hoping for Adamo, who just upended Trevor Wilhelm, or Kalen Taylor rather, in the IceRays zone. And now here comes John Russell, who tries to turn. Russell loses the puck. Korshkov played it off a stick, bounces high in the air. It's been a physical start to this game, folks. Everyone finishing their hits in all areas of the ice in all three zones. Stephen Ipri starts it out. Nice pass. Pletsky's got it. Misfires. The Karams off the corner. Coffey will collect it. Coffey with a nice move and a decent pass, but just a little bit too far outside of the reach of Dakota Kincannon. Followed up by Matt Acioli, who will jam it deep into the Brahmas zone. With 11-12 to go in the first period, the IceRays leading the Brahmas 1-0. Connor Stewart, the former Jackalope, leaves it. It's cleared up the right side. Connor Pooley from the red line gets it into the IceRays zone. Coffey flips it off the boards and out to Stewart at center in front of his own bench. Back pedals Connor Stewart. Miss on his pass. This will be an icing call against Lone Star. That icing was brought to you by Hard Knocks Bar and Grill. We've got 10:51 to play in period one. The IceRays leading 1-0.
Tonight you can win cash and Whataburger for a year. Order Rodriguez Auto Body Detail by playing Chuck-a-Buck presented by Whataburger. Get your Chuck-a-Bucks on the concourse for only $2 per puck. Chuck-a-Buck will take place during the second intermission.
Tour Linden on the second hack at the puck, able to beat Grayson Gavin on the draw. Closing in on possession there was Taylor. Youngworth's pass was intended there for Yanni. It was intercepted before it got there. Gavin stops, feeds it rink wide. He fooled Lone Star, it looked like. They thought he was going to go left, went right with it instead. Now Miller's got it in the left corner and will drop it back, cycling it to Grayson Gavin, who returns it for Miller behind the net. Brendan Miller. Muscled off possession by Connor Stewart. Here come the Brahmas. John Russell right side. Shoots. Stopped by Acton right on, and he holds. Over their last few matchups against Lone Star, the IceRays have played extremely well. There was only one game in which they didn't get at least a point from. It just so happens that it was their last matchup against Lone Star, that 5-1 defeat on the road. But that was the exception to the rule. Outside of that, the IceRays have won every other game in their last 6 against them, except for one, which came in a shootout. It was ultimately a 4-3 decision, a heartbreaker. The IceRays were so close to sweeping Lone Star. They had a 3-1 lead until the third period, about halfway through it, probably a little more than halfway through it. Lone Star scored twice to come back, tie the game, force overtime, and then win in the shootout off a Kimball Johnson goal. Tour Linden's pass was intended for Sirota, stolen from him. Linden goes down. There will be a penalty here against Corpus Christi, and Rosenberg will be taken to the IceRays sin bin. So for the first time tonight, we'll have a power play. It will belong to Lone Star on the season. Their power play has not been spectacular. Fourth from last in the NAHL. The Brahmas at 17.7%. The IceRays, who have steadily improved in the penalty kill department all season, just above the halfway mark of the NAHL. They sit at 10th with an 80.9% conversion rate on the PK. This IceRays penalty kill is brought to you by Republic Services. Garrett Halford with Brendan Miller. And Korshkov now skates over to the IceRays box. So this won't be a 5-on-3, but Rosenberg's going to be given probably an extra 2 for roughing or something of that nature. Korshkov will have to serve that. Or Korshkov will have to serve the other altercation, and Rosenberg will have to stay in there for some extra time. But the man advantage will only be 2 minutes long. So now without CJ Regula in the lineup, other players obviously are going to have to step up for Corpus Christi on the penalty kill. Regula was one of the main players on the PK for Brad Flynn and the IceRays. He was their most trusted face-off man. Nice move by Sirota, skates in, misfired. He shot it off the netting. The protective netting looked like it went clean off the protective netting and didn't even deflect off of anything, so that was obviously a little bit high. Nevertheless, an excellent move made by the Czech defenseman, cutting in through center ice with some speed. Halford with a defensive zone win in the draw, and the Rays have cleared it. Courtesy of Connor Yanni, who was the unsung hero so many times last weekend. Miller steals it and nearly caught Gibson napping there on a couple of shots. He bailed himself out twice. Brendan Miller with a pair of short-handed shots, but neither of them managed to get past Gibson. Here's Hallbauer teeing it up, shooting, pad save by Acton. Kicked out the right leg just in the nick of time. Linden's got it left corner. Tour Linden surveying, left half wall, up to the top again. Hallbauer on the return. Linden left circle, has it, holds on, shoots, hit the post. Tour Linden grazed the outside of the left post with that shot attempt. Now it's Russell from the corner. Behind the net with Ipri. Banks it off the boards to Sirota at the line. Back to Ipri again, right half wall. Halford defending him. The centering pass was fanned on there by John Russell and cleared by Brendan Miller. On net, Gibson will play it. 50 seconds remain on this Republic Services penalty kill. The IceRays first of the game. Lennon collects it. Pass one up the right boards. Hustling in after it will be Bottrell, who got past Taylor. Has to turn. Back to the point it goes. Lennon returns it. Bottrell right circle. Circle to circle pass for Sandberg, whose shot was blocked. It ricocheted off a skate. Lennon from the right point, rather, and Bottrell again will scale the right half wall. He dropped it. Lennon gets the pass at the blue line. Stutter step and a fake. Right circle shot. Pad save Acton. Rebound. Acton made a second save. He was able to deny Frankie Trezera on a point-blank opportunity. 16 seconds remain on this penalty kill for Ryan Rosenberg. But it won't be he who is let out of the box. It will be Pavel Korshkov. IceRays leading 1-0, 16 seconds remaining on their first penalty kill of this game. Tour Linden able to win the offensive zone face-off. The Brahmas looking for one last power play shot. Right circle, head fake, sent down to the goal line. Linden whiffed on the one-timer, stuff attempt right in front of the goal. Acton is down with another stick save. He's been fantastic in the early going. He is 10 for 10, perhaps 11 for 11 if they count that last one as a save. I believe it will be counted. And 8:08 remain in period one. Corpus Christi leading 1-0, courtesy of a Blake Coffey snipe from the blue line. Korshkov now standing in the IceRays sin bin. Linden beating Halford on the draw. Lennon, Biondo, the Brahmas captain, drops it. Bottrell's got it. Korshkov let out of the box, skates right into the defensive zone to help his team out. And the Rays are back to full strength, improving to 1-for-1 on the Republic Services penalty kill, which is now at 81% on the campaign. This will be icing, however. No, it's being waved off by Cam Dykstra. And Miller pursues the puck in behind the Lone Star net. Won by Korshkov in the left corner in the Lone Star zone. Stewart turns away from Korshkov and flings one out. Miller didn't see Biondo was right behind him. Cuts in over the blue line, gets checked by Korshkov. And the Rays have possession now. They could get an odd man rush potentially. Aciola down the left side with St. Ange to the goal. The pass intended for him, broken up by Lennon. And the Brahmas have settled that attack down for the time being at least. And now Stewart is under pressure. The Ice Rays jab it off of his stick. St. Ange flicked it in behind the net. Riley St. Ange with 6 goals in as many games against Lone Star this season. He leads all Ice Rays in points against the Brahmas. Wilhelm with an attempted screen shot blocked by Michael Montembeau. And Wilhelm will pursue it and retrieve it behind his own net. 7 minutes remain in the first period. Your score 1-0 favoring the Ice Rays. Blake Coffey, your goal scorer. Trevor Wilhelm, 2-time overtime hero this season, along with Blake Coffey, the only players on the Ice Rays on the season who are still here that have scored an overtime winning goal, and they're both defensemen. Alexei Peltonen scored 2 while he was here. He is now in Omaha with the Lancers in the USHL. Hallbauer put it over the blue line, left side, sent on net, deflected off the side of the goal. Acton knocked it off of a body, and it took a strange bounce. It looks like there might be a player injured in behind the Ice Rays net. Kalen Taylor is down and slow to get up. And I don't see any indication from the referee that there will be a penalty called on Lone Star. 6:20 to go in period 1. It sounds like we might be headed towards our second period media timeout. So we're going to take a brief pause here on the Ice Rays Broadcast Network. We'll be back in a moment, folks. 1-0 Corpus Christi with 6:20 to go in the first. We'll be right back.
A retail bakery that has been in business for 25 years. They provide customers with moist, delicious cakes for all occasions, plus pies, cheesecakes, pastries, balloons, candles, and ornaments for all cakes. Give Janet's Cakery a call at 991-6212 or visit them online at janetscakery.com. Janet's Cakery opens 7 days a week. That's 991-6212.
All right, so the Ice Rays back to full strength. 11 saves made already by Jake Acton, who's been perfect so far. Gibson 5 of 6, an .833 save percentage on the night for Gibson thus far. The only shot to beat him coming off of Blake Coffey's stick from a good 55 feet or so from straightaway center. And Connor Yanni will pass one through his own zone, and Dakota Kincannon turns back with it. Yanni dropping it for Coffey. Coffey from the Ice Rays logo. Was he short of center? No, no icing. Gibson will touch it behind his own net. Yanni pinches in to try to play the puck. It squirts past him, and the Brahmas are out to center with it. Spellacy. Korshkov hustling back on the back check to break it up from Spellacy. Never got to him. Or rather, never got to Wyatt Matthews. Spellacy had it on the left wing side. Spellacy wore the number 6 last year for Lone Star, hence the confusion. Now he wears number 8. Will this be a penalty? The Ice Rays had possession. There will be 2 penalties called, one aside. Chase Pletsky will join Connor Yanni. And we'll go to the 4-on-4. 5.5 to play in the first period. 1-0 Ice Rays. So we're seeing Grayson Gavin for the first time tonight getting a chance on the 4-on-4. The defensive zone draw, but Lone Star was able to beat him. Lennon, left half wall. Able to angle one past Matt Accioli. John Russell Squeaks past Wilhelm, and curling out with it now is Stephen Ipri, who wheels up to the deep slot. Ipri for Lennon, top of the left circle. He was hoping for a friendly stick, never got one. Aizioli pursues it. Ipri checks him into the boards. Lennon covers ground nicely. It's stolen from him by Gavin. He's got a 2-on-1 with Youngworth. Gavin will shoot, miss the net. But that shot had some mustard on it. Grayson Gavin just ripping it from a pretty tough angle. Gibson never had to make a save. And he's thankful for that, because that was a heater. Youngworth in between a couple of Brahmas now in the right corner, battling for possession of the puck. 4 3/4 remain in the first period. A minute to go on this 4-on-4. IceRays leading 1-0, courtesy of a Blake Coffey snipe from the blue line. The Rays have not yet gone to a power play in this game. Kyle Hallbauer passed it off of his own teammate's skate. Miller intercepts it and drops it. St. Ange has it, shoots it. Glove save by Gibson. St. Ange, the only IceRay to be in double digits this season in points against the Brahmas. With 10, he's got 6 goals and 4 assists. Earlier this season, he had a hat trick against them on the road. It was the second hat trick of the season scored by an IceRay. The first was by Larry Youngworth. That was on home ice back in November. Riley's came on December 9th against the Brahmas. It was just a few games before he went on his franchise-tying 7-game goal-scoring streak. The man he tied, Larry Youngworth. The only 2 players in franchise history to score a goal in 7 consecutive as Biondo cuts into the slot and shoots. Might have gone off the glove of Acton, tough to tell. And St. Ange was defended closely at center, couldn't get the puck on his stick. Sirota weaves away from Miller, gains the zone. A dozen seconds to go on the 4-on-4. Sirota will stop, he will slip away from 1, then 2, loses the puck in the slot eventually. Good effort by Sirota, but now he's caught flat-footed and the Rays get an odd man rush. St. Ange down his off wing, passed it across, deflected on net, or rather just wide of it by Julian Biondo on the back check. And 9 times out of 10, that's a good play, but sometimes it ends up costing it. If it takes a funky bounce like that, nearly cost him. As Hallbauer in the left corner will put it down to Montembeau. Hallbauer gets it again and flings it up towards the point. Not sure if that was intentional, but it worked out for the Brahmas as it was slapped wide by Stewart. Loose in the slot, chopped off of Emac Bentley, or rather Chase Pletsky, and the Bowling Green commit will put it off of Montembeau's stick and in behind the goal line for the IceRays. DeMizio turns, clears it up. Garrett Halford sends one through center. Noah Roof chipped it further. Brahmas have cleared it, and Trevor Zenas muscling for it. Frankie Trezera will stop it above the right circle and turn. Trezera over to Wyatt Matthews, who whiffed on the one-timer. He will retreat out to center ice. Stewart blasting it back in. Yanni. To Matt Aizioli, and it's fed around. Cleared up to the point, but not out. Blast from there, from the right point, is gloved by Jacob Acton, who remains perfect so far. A Baker's dozen saves on the night for Jake Acton. That last save coming on the hard-shooting Connor Stewart. I'd like to congratulate a buddy of mine, Nick Merrick, the Lone Star Brahmas broadcaster this weekend, being named to the Top Prospects Tournament to be one of the 2 broadcasters who will be calling the event, along with Ken Oda of the Minot Minotauros. The 2 of them both do an outstanding job for their teams, and it'll be a lot more enjoyable watching the Top Prospects Tournament with them providing the play-by-play coverage. Acton having to make another pad save immediately following a defensive zone draw. Scott collects the puck at center, joins in the rush with McCary. Scott trying to go wide on Zielinski, who rid him down into the corner, and down he goes. Zielinski up to Adamo left side, and a potential 3-on-2. Over the line goes Russell, rather. Watched every step of the way. Nice defensive play made by Matt Aizioli. That was textbook on John Russell, who leads the Brahmas in goals this season. Snap shot from the line, save, rebound. McCary had his stick tied up and couldn't get a second shot off, or it would have been a tap-in for the Nova Scotia native. Russell lost it. Ipri follows up and shoots. It gets blocked. Novo intercepts the pass. .100 seconds to play in the first period. The IceRays have a 1-0 lead. Blake Coffey, the lone player to put the puck in the back of the net thus far. And he's got it on his stick now as he wheels behind the goal with it. Clears it up past Sirota. Novo's on his horse. He's going to try to chip it past Stewart, but he covered ground beautifully and timed his stick check perfectly. Koreshkov working for it against Sirota with Novo lurking around the perimeter, trying to find that loose puck. Novo is checked, got the puck off. Linden intercepts it. Clears it off the boards up to Austin Bottrell. Bottrell weaves down and behind his own net. Cannon pursuing it. He's checked into the half wall. Sirota wedges one up. The Brahmas gas at the end of a shift here. We'll just skate it in and try to buy some time to get some fresh bodies onto the ice. Yanni goes down. Bottrell steals it from the corner and shoots. Save. Acton didn't see it. It's loose. Goes up to Lennon. Tees it up. Zielinski, rather. Hallbauer's one-timer got blocked. 37 seconds to go here in the first period. And the IceRays are out to center. Hallbauer steals it, marches right back in, goes wide on Taylor. Hallbauer curls around, centers, loose in front. Pad save by Acton. Looked like a couple times. And again, he keeps the Brahmas off the score sheet. 15 saves in the first period for Jake Acton. What a night he's having already. And he gets a very well-deserved round of applause from the crowd here at the ABC tonight. Miller redirects the puck out to center ice. 18 seconds to go. Here comes Trezera stopping. Pass was intended for the trailer on that play. Montembeault. Miller broke it up with his skates. Taylor swiveling out to the neutral zone. 5 seconds to go. Lennon will just play it safe and let this period expire. It's a good period for both sides, but the IceRays have the lead. They're up 1-0. Thanks to a booming slap shot by Blake Coffey from dead straightaway center in the offensive zone. A 55-foot snipe by the hard-shooting defenseman. His 6th goal of the season, giving the IceRays the 1-0 edge at 6:26 of period 1. And Jake Acton. Boy, if Coffey wasn't the #1 star of that period, Jake Acton certainly was. What a job he did keeping the Brahmas at bay. This could easily be a 2 or 3-1 lead for Lone Star, but were it not for the play of Jake Acton. Folks, he played 4 straight games in which Chad Veltri was injured and unavailable. Veltri, the Niagara commit, who has been one of the better goaltenders in the NAHL this season. I believe he's now 10th in the league in save percentage. He went down, and it very easily, when you lose a star goaltender like that, there can be turmoil, but there wasn't because of Jake Acton's brilliance. He was able to keep his cool during that 4-game stretch, even though it was not did not look like a very good stretch for the IceRays considering the teams they were playing. They were going up against the top 2 ranked teams in the division, Shreveport and Odessa. The Rays managed to win half of those games, 2 out of 4, taking points in 2 out of 4. And Jake Acton, like you'll hear Coach Flynn say shortly during the Flynn interview in the first intermission, some of those the 6-2 defeats, the numbers won't really be reflective of how well Jake Acton played during those games, but he really kept the IceRays going throughout that 4-game stretch in Veltri's absence. Tyler Myers was an emergency goaltender called up from the Texas Brahmas of the NA3HL. He couldn't play unless Acton got hurt, and Jake, realizing that, just really put the team on his back, and I think it's safe to say, were it not for his outstanding play in Game 2 against Odessa a couple of weeks ago, the IceRays probably don't walk away from that series with a win. And he's been outstanding again tonight, a perfect 15 of 15 in his season's first start against the Lone Star Brahmas. And just his 2nd period played against Lone Star on the campaign. The Rays up 1-0 through the first 20 minutes. Thanks for joining us, folks. Hope you're having a good Thursday night. Coffey, your lone goal scorer, coming at 6:26 of that first period. Please enjoy some words for our sponsors before we head to our Flynn interview with the IceRays head coach Brad Flynn and more before your Janet's Cakery out-of-town scoreboard update is next. Stay tuned, folks. We won't be gone long.
Home service leader in South Texas, at home or at the office with affordable prices. Want more than just your windows cleaned? Check out the Window Genie Big 3, offering window cleaning as well as window tinting and pressure washing. Window Genie is also your year-round solution for cleaning those pesky gutters. Call for an estimate at 361-792-3554. That's 361-792-3554. And let the power of the Genie work for you. Was home of the Guaranteed to Sell classified ads, covering all Corpus Christi communities within a 75-mile radius. Place your personal classified with us, and if it hasn't sold in 4 weeks, we'll run it for free until it sells. Visit us in the Gulfway Shopping Center or give us a call at 361-980-0008 or online at cc.thriftynickel.com. Thrifty Nickel, where you get nationwide coverage with hometown service.
Lose weight, get fit, or just improve your overall fitness? Then train with a professional at Sports Fitness Solutions. Former IceRays player and current team strength and conditioning coach Jeff Pelucio can help you reach your goals with a specific program built just for you. Choose from one-on-one or group training sessions. Sports Fitness Solutions can help you lose weight, increase energy, build muscle, and get you feeling better today. Call Jeff with Sports Fitness Solutions today at 774-0874. That's 774-0874. And train like the IceRays do.
Along with your favorite IceRays wherever you go by linking up to the IceRays social media arsenal. There are more ways to follow the action than ever before, with pictures, news, videos, and exclusive content, including interviews and giveaways. Give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Corpus Christi IceRays, and on Twitter, Vine, Periscope, and now Snapchat at Go IceRays. IceRays social media arsenal, the ultimate coverage of IceRays hockey.
It's a luxury of bayfront living at Sendera Bay Point. Located on Enos Jocelyn Road, Sendera Bay Point is newly renovated with upgraded units featuring granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and designer lighting. Enjoy an on-site masseuse, waterfront yoga classes, water aerobics, fitness boot camps, poolside towel service, Saturday morning homemade resident breakfast, and of course, stunning bay views. Visit SenderaBayPoint.com for more details. Mention this ad for a waived application fee. That's SenderaBayPoint.com. Radiology and Imaging is the official imaging center of your IceRays. The Best of the Best award winner 7 years in a row provides diagnostic imaging services in a caring, comforting patient environment with leading-edge imaging technology. Their extensive expertise in medical imaging allows them to not only give physicians and patients the very best in service and care, but your IceRays as well. So the next time you need imaging done, call Radiology and Imaging at 853-4503. That's 853-4503. Island Villa Apartments offers residents a prime location that leaves you minutes away from shopping, entertainment, restaurants, and beaches. Residents will discover a life of splendor with 2 pools, a workout facility, outdoor grilling needs, along with comfortable apartments located just minutes from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Island Villa Apartments are located off SBID and Nile Drive. Call Island Villa Apartments today at 994-1630 and set up your personal tour. 994-1630. Island Villa Apartments.
The biggest best in the Coastal Bend. Gulf Coast Graphics has been right here in the Coastal Bend since 1987, wrapping, designing, and producing some of the hottest graphics between here and those other two coasts. Gulf Coast Graphics is the industry leader and the only Feller certified wrap shop in the Coastal Bend. You might even say we're Rapalicious. Gulf Coast Graphics has the best graphics designers, the best installers, the most cutting-edge equipment in the industry, and the most innovative and creative staff around. So when you want your business to stand out, the website, GulfCoastGraphicsSite.com. The mission, to make your vehicle wraps and graphics the biggest, the brightest, and the best in the Coastal Bend. Gulf Coast Graphics wraps, makes signs, stickers, banners, vehicle magnets, and t-shirts too. Go on, we dare you to stand out in the marketplace. Call the Wrap Masters at Gulf Coast Graphics. Call 854-0213, 854-0213.
Air is Corpus Christi's newest place for fun. 30,000 square feet of trampoline park with foam pits, slam ball, a ninja course, and dodgeball. A place to let your inner spirit soar, show you've got game, harness your inner ninja, and turn up the competition. For parties from 5 to 500, kids, corporate, and adult team building, it's the #1 place for fun in Corpus Christi. Get out, get active, get air. 4701 South Staple Street in Corpus Christi.
Running a business with cell phones?
We're unable to take your call at the moment. Please leave your name, number, and a brief...
When time is money and the message is urgent, you need two-way radio.
Unit 5, return to yard immediately.
Safe, reliable, distracted, driver-legal two-way radio from A&B Communications with built-in fleet tracking.
Units 14 and 22, assist Unit 5 at Wellside 1.
Hand units, vehicle-mounted base stations, fleet tracking, on-site or wide-area communications for business. Online at abcom.net. That's abcomm.net. When you need to
Talk business.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around here for your first intermission report. We hope you're enjoying the game up till this point. Let's take a look around the NAHL for your Janet's Cakery Out-of-Town scoreboard update. It'll be a short one tonight. It is a Thursday night after all. Only one other game going on this evening. Tomorrow night will obviously be a lot more busy, but Brookings and Bismarck are playing against one another at the VFW Sports Center up in the capital of North Dakota this evening. Just a minute remaining in period one. It's a 1-1 stalemate. Gabe Wall, the former Shreveport Mudbug, scoring to answer Bismarck's goal. Joseph Mancuso, the Bobcats on home ice, got off to a lead at 8:54 off of Mancuso's tally, and Wall scoring about 8 minutes later or so to level the score for Brookings. It looks like that first period is just about to end. And the score of this game, 1-0 Corpus Christi. Blake Coffey, your lone goal scorer, to give the Rays the 1-0 edge over the Lone Star Brahmas. That wraps up your Janet's Cakery Out-of-Town scoreboard update. Folks, please enjoy the interview with the IceRays head coach, Brad Flynn, coming your way next. For those of you tuning in on YouTube, it might be difficult to hear this, unfortunately. You might just catch glimpses of it just because of the way the audio is here. But for those of you tuned in on HockeyTV.com, hopefully you don't have any issues. For those of you tuning in on our live YouTube stream, we'll be back in about 6 minutes or so to get you ready for period 2.
In the last 12 days, we hope you've enjoyed your little time off. I know the IceRays certainly have. We're excited to get back and rolling underway here at the American Bank Center for a Thursday night contest between your IceRays and the visiting Lone Star Brahmas. I've got the IceRays head coach, Brad Flynn, alongside. Coach, this has really been the first time that we've had an off weekend this season, besides the holidays, of course. What are some of the things that the team's been able to focus in on over the last couple of weeks and take advantage of over their time off?
I think we did a good job the last 2 weeks. That we had for the extra practice time to work on some skill development, some conditioning. If we're more skilled and we're better conditioned, we can't help but be in better players. And then obviously going into this week, guys, and it gave them a chance to refresh. It was a little bit like the NHL All-Star break where they got time to relax and kind of clear their head a little bit and get ready for a grueling second half or stretch drive here after the All-Star break that happens in the NHL. Same for us, and we want to make sure that there's no excuses. We're well rested now, and we're ready to go down here the stretch into the playoffs.
Yeah, and the IceRays had a little bit of fun last week during practice with the super skills competition. Always good to get a little bit of a break when, especially this late in the season, we're now past the 2/3 mark. It's such a grind, especially at this level and in the South Division. Getting some more of the lighter side stuff in there is definitely good for the team's morale in the long term. Coach, the trade deadline was on Tuesday night this past week. A few deals were made. The team's bearing down for a playoff push, like you just said. Just recap that day for us and how you think the trades that were made will help this group going forward.
No, it was a long day. It was a good day. There was a lot of talking going on in the league. There wasn't as many deals as I thought there probably would be. A lot of teams are still in the hunt in most situations. So the deals had to work, and with it being a 1 and 2 year league, basically, it's not a situation where teams can plan almost a 3-year plan where they know they're not in it now and they want to sell some older parts like maybe in other leagues or in the NHL, and they're looking to rebuild with high draft picks and young players. Those young players usually go off to the USHL, so you really got to make a real good hockey deal for both sides because both parties are still in the fight, and everybody wants to win every year. So we ended up acquiring a 20-year-old centerman from Fairbanks who had offensive numbers last year that we really like in Grayson Gavin, and he's a big body that skates well and has good offensive upside. And we also added an 18-year-old centerman with major junior and USHL experience, Adam Kadlik, who's highly skilled and can make plays. And we thought it was important to bring those two guys into the fold with losing David Thompson really early in the season and Alexei Peltonen to help out our top six. And obviously we've gotten great contributions this year from guys like Garrett Halford, Angus Scott, Pavel Korshkov, and Noah Roof. And we just feel that putting them with like-minded players is going to help their development as well, and obviously give us an opportunity to add a lot of depth to our lineup.
Yeah, one of those players mentioned, Grayson Gavin. He's going to be making his IceRays debut tonight. He'll be wearing the number 18. We're very much looking forward to seeing not only what he can do, but how he can help his teammates and help this team improve here as they make one last push for the South Division playoffs. Coach Chad Beltry, he's been out for some time now. He's such an important piece of the puzzle. Been one of the better goaltenders in the NAHL this season. Hasn't played in nearly a month. He's in the lineup now, though he's not the starter tonight. How's his progress been in general?
Yeah, he's back to practicing, full practice and stuff. He's good to go now. He's 100%. It's nice to have him back. And in saying that, I thought that in his time away, Jake Acton, a 19-year-old goalie who's played in the league, has experience. He came in and he did a really good job, and he steadied the ship. I think there was a couple games there where the numbers weren't indicative of his play, and that's a team stat against that goes on his record. But I thought he did a really solid job, and he's getting the start again tonight.
Yeah, it's never easy when a goaltender like Veltri goes down, but Jake Acton, what a job he did keeping the IceRays boat afloat over the last month or so. Coach, during the 2 weeks leading up to the bye, the team dropped a 6-2 decision the first night of each series. Then they bounced back the second night of each series and won in a narrow, low-scoring affair against two very good teams. How do they get off to a better start tonight and play the way they've been doing in Game 2?
Yeah, we just got to make sure that we're engaged early. We start on time. We do the little things and we do them hard. And I feel that once we get engaged early and we're into the game quickly, we changed a little bit of our preparation today and did more of a Saturday preparation, trying to mix things up and duplicate what we've been doing on Saturdays. We think that can give us an advantage. We want to make sure we have good starts. Lone Star's the second best winning percentage in the division. They're the defending national champions.
Really appreciate your time and good luck. That's your IceRays head coach Brad Flynn, and this has been Coach's Corner. We'll be back with your Janice Cakery out-of-town scoreboard update and more in just a moment.
Welcome back, everyone. Again, thank you so much for joining us here on your Thursday night. It's Fan Appreciation Night here at the American Bank Center. $2 tickets, $2 post-game skating, Stingeray's birthday, and a prize raffle. What else could you ask for Thursday night of family fun here at the American Bank Center? Given the fact it is a Thursday night, not a bad turnout whatsoever here at the ABC. Grayson Gavin making his IceRays debut this evening wearing the number 18. Started, played a couple of big shifts, played on the 4-on-4. He's looking to get his legs under him and get the feel for the NAHL South, the likes of which he's never played in before. He's got plenty of NAHL experience, however, playing first for Marty Murray and the Minot Minotauros when he first came into the league a couple of years ago in the 2015-16 season. The following year, he played with the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. He was traded there midway season, that being last season. Pretty early into the campaign, played the majority of last season in Fairbanks with Trevor Stewart and the defending national champion Fairbanks Ice Dogs. And put up some pretty good numbers, 23 points in 34 games with Fairbanks last year. He's been plagued by injuries this season, but make no mistake, he's got all kinds of offensive talent and upside. Brad Flynn speaking with the Fairbanks Brain Trusts about him, very much trusting what he can bring to the table, and he's going, speaking of the Devil, going right out there to set the tone to start period number 2. With Miller on his left and Larry Youngworth on his right. On defense, Matt Acioli and Blake Coffey, the same 5 which started this game, will start things off for the second period of IceRays hockey, brought to you by First Title Company. Cam Dykstra drops the puck. We're underway for the second stanza here at the American Bank Center. The IceRays leading the Brahmas by a 1-0 score. Blake Coffey still your lone scorer as Stewart winds up and fires a wrist shot from the point. It was blocked by Brendan Miller and caroms into the far corner, and now it's Youngworth hauling it up and off the glass and down. Lennon will race after it in the Lone Star zone. Lennon reverses the puck for Connor Stewart, who fed one up the middle. Bottrell tapped it further, and here comes Biondo on his off wing. Will shoot from the left wing side, missed the net as it caroms off the wall. Back to Lennon, who drops it behind the goal line. Coffey wheels in, picks it up, and sends it a little bit too far for Youngworth. He jabs it free, and out with it comes Miller. Miller is squeezed off the puck by Wyatt Matthews, who closed him off. And now Linden has got plenty of time to make his zone exit, and he makes it with ease. Damo lost possession. Good slap of the puck by Connor Yanni. And then Scott just flattens his man out at center, knocking him down. It was Russell who he brought to the ice. Nice clean body check by Angus Scott. St. Ange was caught with a high stick. This will be a penalty called against Lone Star, and for the first time tonight, the IceRays will go to the power play. Riley St. Ange with 11 points against the Brahmas this season, 6 goals and 5 assists. And this being his 9th matchup against them, he's got an apple on the night as well, a primary helper on Coffey's goal, and now he's drawing penalties. That's what happens to players who play the game the right way like Riley does. Going into the dirty areas, you're not going to draw any power play. You're not going to draw penalties if you're just playing pretty the whole time. You're going to have to get your nose dirty. You're going to have to go into those corners and go into those battles and grind it out. That's the only way you might catch a cross check or a high stick. And St. Ange did just that. Let's see if the IceRays can reward them. It's their first chance on the AEP Texas power play tonight, which has struggled this season. But inevitably now we'll have some new personnel with the additions of Grayson Gavin and Adam Cadlick, the latter of whom was not able to dress tonight, but the former of whom was, and he's out there right now. On the second unit, he joins Miller, St. Ange, Youngworth, and Coffey. That puck having gone out of play 16 seconds after the power play started. The face-off to Gibson's right. Gavin steps in to take it against Tour Linden. Gavin wins it cleanly over Linden. Coffey, slap shot by St. Ange, tipped by Miller, stopped by Gibson, goes wide into the corner, and it's cleared by the Brahmas all the way down Acton has it on his stick now to the left of his net. Blake Coffey was proven Wednesday of last week to have the hardest shot on the IceRays at 94 miles an hour. Miller to Youngworth, slap pass, faked it, dropped it now for Coffey at the blue line. Miller, right circle, gets the pass from St. Ange. Coffey again at the point from straight away. Youngworth, left circle, back to Coffey. Coffey to Miller, returns it. Coffey, one-timer punched aside by Gibson, who fought it off with the blocker. Coffey scurries over, covered ground nicely to keep the puck in the zone, but not for long. The Brahmas have cleared it immediately thereafter. And Acton will leave it now for Coffey, who we can assume will shortly be replaced by Matt Aiseoli, or perhaps Trevor Wilhelm. Looks like it will probably be the latter because Aiseoli's out there now. Demizio turns away from Tour Linden and drops it for Coffey now behind his own net. The Rays have 35 seconds remaining on their AEP Texas power play. Puck is flung on net from 100 feet or so, blocked away by Gibson. Out with it comes Hallbauer, the defenseman, short-handed, leading the rush. He's got Biondo on his left. Hallbauer, the shot off the pad, it's in. It went off of Biondo, a smart, good-timed shot by, well-timed shot by Kyle Hallbauer, who fired it off the pad of the stick of Acton. The rebound went right off of Biondo, who didn't even have to put his stick on it. And I think that's what Acton's upset about. He thinks maybe it was kicked in, but it's a shorthanded goal for Julian Biondo, and the Brahmas have just tied it. It's 1-1. Hallbauer knew he couldn't get the pass there, so he just fired it. And it bounced in off of Biondo. I don't even think he shot it. He just placed himself well to get the rebound past Acton. And for Biondo, that's his third goal against the IceRays this season, and his 8th overall. Scott gets the puck in the right corner. He twists and turns away from a couple of dark sweaters, then takes it into the left corner, loses possession to Mizio. Going to work it up to Garrett Halford. The IceRays dropping to 0 for 1 on the AEP Texas power play this evening and conceding a shorthanded goal in the process. Montembeau is checked by Halford, and Wilhelm retreats. He's got it now and fires it up to Halford on the right wing. Halford tapped along nicely from Aiseoli to Demizio. Demizio's shot went off of Gibson's glove. Scott's throwing the body around everywhere tonight. Delivers another good check on Stephen Ipri. Gets the puck, looks to center. It's broken up by Sirota before it got to Halford. Here come the Brahmas. They've got a 3-on-2 potentially. Is that onside? Yes. Spellacy dropped it. Now it's Ipri right circle. Delayed penalty upcoming against Corpus Christi. The whistle blows. Now the Rays will go to the box. And this will be a kneeing penalty called against Garrett Halford. IceRays 1 for 1 on the Republic Services penalty kill tonight. We're going to get another look. Lone Star's power play last time around generated plenty of chances, but the IceRays penalty killers did an excellent job. Brendan Miller, Garrett Halford, Connor Yanni, Matt Aiseoli, and others. But now Halford's not available, forcing Miller to take the draw, which he couldn't win. The screenshot from the point, saved by Acton. He's out of position. And the Rays fail to clear it. Sirota with a good keep, right point. Linden back to Sirota in the slot. He will fire, ricocheted off of something, and it went wide. Linden collecting it. Working up the half wall. Linden put it to the goal line. Side of the net, sent back left circle. Hallbauer whiffed on it, gets right back on it, put it in front. Broken up by Aiseoli, who shovels it out. Hallbauer, the good keep at the left point. The Rays would have had a 2-on-1 otherwise. Excellent stick check on the back check by Miller. And he prevented a shot there from Tour Linden. Sirota walking the blue line, swiveling up to the deep slot. Linden, left circle. One-timer didn't have much on it. Now it's Ipri behind the net. Stephen Ipri for Linden, tapped in front, score. Good movement by the Brahmas on the power play, and they have their first lead of the game. It's John Russell with a tally. Excellent cycle of possession and good movement by Lone Star. The IceRays were never really able to clear that puck from their own zone since the power play started. And a couple of times it was kept in the zone unexpectedly. The Rays thought that they were out. They thought that they had numbers. They're trying to answer Lone Star's most recent shorthanded tally with one of their own, but they got a little bit too anxious. Hallbauer with one or two excellent keeps at the blue line. And ends up coming back to bite the IceRays, who now trail for the first time tonight, 2-1 your score. Connor Stewart fires from a screen, and Acton's able to stop that shot from the right point. We're going to take a quick pause here. We're a quarter of the way through period 2, and the Brahmas have just taken the lead on the power play. It's 2-1 Lone Star. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the video board for tonight's Kiss Cam. You never know when you might be next, so plug her up.
I don't think the Brahmas players on the bench are going to be paying too much attention to that kiss cam. What with Dan Wildfong trying to teach him a lesson or two while that was happening. The kiss cam out in Odessa last week, or 2 weekends ago, rather. Riley St. Onge and Julian McCary being good sports about it. Unfortunately, McCary ended up having to snub Riley a little bit at the end because Brad Flynn was trying to get his attention to explain a 4-on-4 play to him. Justin Adamo battling against a much smaller Blake Coffey. He's able to wedge it off of the 6'6" power forward stick, and now it rolls into the far corner, and Hallbauer steps in against Demizio to work for it. Halford turns it back behind his own net, and Blake Coffey slapping it up to Noah Roof. Roof is wrapped up by Sandberg. It slides out to Bottrell, and now it's fed over to Kyle Hallbauer. Acioli. Up to Noah Roof. Roof's pass works its way onto Garrett Halford's stick. He will dump it in. Sirota behind his own net with it. 6 minutes have gone by in the second period. Lone Star having scored a shorthanded and a power play goal in period 2, and they have their first lead of the night. Wyatt Matthews fed one out to Aiden Spellacy. Chipped further. Pletzky right circle will shoot. Blocked by Trevor Wilhelm's skates. Bounces over to Spellacy, who was checked hard into the near half wall. Matthews jumps in. Pooley is checked by Rosenberg. Spellacy with a one-handed deke attempt. Rolls right back to Spellacy again. Fed up to the line. Matthews a shot. Missed the left post. Sirota left half wall. Turns it over. Novo couldn't get past Sirota. Kept his stick down on the ice. Good hard persistence by Sirota. Novo might have had a 2-on-1 rush. Sirota again from the left point, tees up a slap shot and shoots right into the chest of Acton, who holds. We'll be right back here tomorrow night, folks. Hope to see you out here at the American Bank Center. The IceRays will host these very same Brahmas tomorrow. It will be their game 2 of their 8-game homestand. They'll be here until early March. Their next road trip isn't until Friday, March 9th and Saturday, March 10th in Amarillo against the Bulls. After that, they only have one more road trip for the rest of the regular season out to George's Pond in Shreveport. Yanni guides one around. Miller is pressured. He got the puck off, but Stewart is staying on him now. Russell had it go off his stick, flutters out to Youngworth in the circle in his own zone, flings one up and down. It deflects on net, no high stick. Excellent effort by Youngworth, nearly causing a breakaway for Miller, but it just went a little bit too far in front of him. And now Miller couldn't filter it through a pair of black sweaters, and it bounces into the IceRays net and out of play. 12:45 to go in the middle period. Lone Star having scored both of the second period goals, one shorthanded, one on the power play. Coming off the sticks of Julian Biondo and John Russell. It's not Biondo's first shorthanded goal against the IceRays either. He actually had a 3-on-5 shorty against them earlier this season. Biondo on the campaign with 2 shorthanded goals, both of them coming against Corpus Christi. Taylor hustling back and one-handed it across the ice, and that saved a headache for Jacob Acton, no question. Taylor's stick check at center. Grayson Gavin working for it with some help from Youngworth. The Brahmas are able to move it up to Tour Linden on the right wing. He flutters one cross ice. Biondo on his off wing, dropping it. Petrell's got it left circle, skates in and shoots. Gets blocked by the crowd in front. Biondo ends up with it again from the circle. His shot again blocked. Linden cycling at Hallbauer, slap shot. Didn't get much on it. Turnaround bid goes off the pads of Acton. And now Taylor is knocked onto his wallet. And the loose puck is collected by Linden, fed up to Sandberg at the right point. Steps into the middle and shoots. Deflects wide. Angus Scott putting it off the back of his own net. Kalen Taylor turns with it. 11:50 to go in the second. 2-1 Lone Star. Scott will hack it up to Youngworth, who flings one up in the air. The Rays on a delayed offside. And Miggins blows the whistle. St. Ange was skating even though the linesmen were shouting for an offside. So are they going to call this intentional offside? I believe they will. Ouch, that's a tough call against Corpus Christi. Intentional offside called by the linesman. On behalf of Flint Hills Resources, the IceRays would like to thank all current and past military personnel who so selflessly defended our great country and the Corpus Christi community. Michael Montembeau takes a sharp angle shot from the right wall. It's stopped by Acton. Acton having a perfect 15-save first period before things went awry to start the second. The first goal coming in the second period, Acton was not happy with whatsoever. He believed that it was kicked in by Biondo. The next was just a result of excellent puck movement by Lone Star on the power play. McCary shoveling the puck out to center ice. Scott had it escape his reach. He stays in pursuit of it against Sirota. That up through center and down. Trezera pursuing Coffey now, who reached out his stick and slapped it along. Wyatt Matthews getting it down to Montembeau, who pivots behind the net and slipped it up the slot, picked off by Scott. Trevor Zenas relentlessly harassed by Scott. Players on the Brahmas bench wanting a penalty called against Angus. That was just a good hard shift by number 9 in white. Now Coffey's got it behind his own net. Scott to the IceRays bench where he's given a well-deserved rest. Garrett Halford hops on in his stead. He races over to that rolling puck, but he's beaten to it just barely by Wyatt Matthews. And now here comes Aiden Spellacy, the Brahmas veteran, turning with it, sending it back to Sandberg. It's going to be a tripping penalty called here against Lone Star. Aiden Spellacy being taken to the box. Things didn't go too well for the Rays on their last power play. They allowed a shorthanded goal and didn't score one themselves. They're hoping for a better effort this time, or a better outcome at least. Acioli and Wilhelm, the blue liners, with Demizio, Halford, and McCary up front. We're nearly halfway through regulation time. 10:29 to play in the second period. And the Brahmas doubling the Rays in shots on net. 24-12, and doubling them in goals, 2-1. Goaltenders with an identical save percentage. Alford pries the puck free from that scrap, as he so often does. Wilhelm fed it to the right circle, tapped in front to Mizio. Doesn't go in, somehow it stays out. I think Lennon might have stopped it, but now it's in. The referee pointing to the back of the net. The IceRays have scored on the power play, and we have a tie game. I'm not sure how DeMizio's initial shot didn't go in, but he got the goal regardless. Jason DeMizio with an AEP Texas power play goal. And we hope to get a better look at that here. DeMizio with his 6th goal of the season, and we'll see on the Bud Light replay if we can get a better vantage point on what happened. That, I'm not sure how that didn't go in, folks, but it didn't, not at first at least. You see Lennon might have saved that goal, but then eventually squeaked past the goal line and over it, and very convincingly. You saw Robert Babcock, the 4th, pointing over and over again to the back of the net that it was a goal. So both teams now 1 for 2 on their power plays, and we've got a 2-2 game. Jakob Sirota fed it up the left side. That power play did not take long to convert. Aciola and Wilhelm on the assists. Here's a one-timer in front of the net that sails over the crossbar. Hallbauer, right point, long screen shot, tipped wide by John Russell in the slot. The Brahmas buzzing to retake the lead, and now it's Acton at the side of the net, holding on to that 2nd and 3rd chance opportunity to give his team a breather. That has been an area of concern a little bit this season for the IceRays. The first shift, as Brad Flynn has liked to say, is the most important. The first shift after scoring a goal is one of the most important moments of games. And there have been times this season in which the IceRays just sort of coasted a little bit after scoring a goal. And that's such an easy way to lose momentum. And Jake Acton making sure that that didn't happen again. The faceoff will now be to his right. Grayson Gavin with a clean win on the draw. Done fairly well in the faceoff circle in his first game as an IceRay. Puck's been fired down. Youngworth racing in after it against Sandberg. He gets inside position on him, but couldn't take possession of the puck behind the net. Sandberg, the Swedish-born defenseman, sends one down. Trezero was going to win the foot race. That was apparent, so Acton decided to play it. A smart play by the IceRays goaltender. Youngworth pursues a rolling puck in the half wall. Clears it up to center. Miller faked as though he was going to glove it down. He didn't. Youngworth swiveling to the outside. Reaches out his stick in the left corner with it. Stewart pinning Youngworth to the corner boards. They jam it free. Kincannon skating over to try to keep it in the zone. Can't do it. The Rays, though, have possession at center. Montembeau shoveling it off the end wall, and Lennon takes over for Lone Star. It's tipped further by Zenas, and the Brahmas can get a change. 8.5 to play in the second period. The game's just been tied up, courtesy of a Jason DeMizio power play goal, his 6th goal of the season. And it's a 2-2 score at the American Bank Center on this Thursday night fan appreciation night. Blake Coffey, who scored the first IceRays goal tonight, to Trevor Wilhelm, who lobs it into the left corner in the Lone Star end. Lennon is after it. He slipped it to Kyle Hallbauer. The Brahmas' top scoring defenseman this season, Kyle Hallbauer, with 18 points on the year. Here's a shot from Pooley, goes off the mark. It was over the crossbar. Hallbauer steps in, slammed it off the half wall on the near side, and the IceRays have cleared it. Will this be far enough for icing? I don't believe so. Dykstra keeps his arm down and play resumes. St. Ange, McCary, and Scott hop onto the ice. We're calling him the Canadian line. Proven to have excellent chemistry in the pretty brief time that they've been together. Icing called against Lone Star. That icing is brought to you by Hard Knocks Bar and Grill, and the Rays will get an offensive zone face-off to follow. Rosenberg with a good keep at the left point. It slapped out past him and out to center for Pooley right side, who turns. Connor Pooley waiting for help, slapping a shot from the right circle that got blocked As it rattles back to the line, Sandberg had no choice but to backpedal and retreat. Wyatt Matthews off the D pass, got it out to the neutral zone. Rosenberg turning one up to McCary. Here come the Rays. They could get a 3-on-2. St. Ange stepping in over the blue line, centering. Good breakup by Sandberg, stolen from him by Scott. On the far half boards, he and Sandberg jostling away, but Trell ends up with it on his stick. Fed one through for Wyatt Matthews on the left wing, and he will deposit the puck in behind the IceRays goal line, but Trell pursues it. Deeks away from Connor Yanni, feeds it to the point. Wyatt Matthews, a wrist shot just off target. Karam's off the back wall. St. Ange will flip it out. Matthews put it down onto the ice, and Taylor will collect it now in his own zone. 6.5 to play in the second period. 2-2 your score. 26-14 your shots favoring the Brahmas, but the game's tied. Taylor has to twist. Ipri pressuring him hard, then centering, just missing Biondo. And the puck's been flung a good 80 feet in the air or so, and now Yanni's got a turn on a dime. Ipri charging in down the left side, shooting. Acton made a high shoulder save. 6:12 to go in the second. 2-2 your score. We're going to take our second period media timeout. We'll be right back.
A bakery that has been in business for 25 years. They provide customers with moist, delicious cakes for all occasions, plus pies, cheesecakes, pastries, balloons, candles, and ornaments for all cakes. Give Janet's Cakery a call at 991-6212 or visit them online at janetscakery.com. Janet's Cakery opens 7 days a week. That's 991-6212.
Home service leader in South Texas at home or at the office with affordable prices. Want more than just your windows cleaned? Check out the Window Genie Big 3, offering window cleaning as well as window tinting and pressure washing. Window Genie is also your year-round solution for cleaning those pesky gutters. Call for an estimate at 361-792-3554. That's 361-792-3554. And let the power of the Genie work for you.
Face-off to Acton's right was won by Halford, who's got a turn now. He's done an excellent job stepping in as the centerman, the main go-to centerman now that CJ Regula is gone. Well, we can assume that he will be one of the more trusted centers on penalty kills now for the IceRays this season. As he's been their best face-off man outside of Regula, who is up around 60%. Before being traded to the Minnesota Wilderness, where he joins former IceRays assistant coach Michael Benedict, who played his college hockey at Niagara University, where Chad Veltri is bound. Alford chops it into the adjacent corner, then goes in after it. Jakob Sirota with a backhand saucer pass up to Linden, who will, or rather Montembeau, who will fling the puck out. Rosenberg lost it to Russell, who was well off the mark with his shot. Hallbauer from his off point lost it. Montembeau kept it, and that saved a potential breakaway there for Pavel Korshkov, who's got it on his stick now and leaves it for Ryan Rosenberg. Under 5 minutes to play in the second period. Your score 2-2. 3 of the 4 goals have come in this second period. 2 of the 3 being scored by Lone Star. The IceRays only having just tied things up recently on a power play of their own just before the halfway point of regulation time. Here's Korshkov firing. Missed the short side elbow of the net. Yanni from the left point. Couldn't get his pass over to Rosenberg. It was outside of his reach and over the blue line. Rosenberg turning back with it. Up to Kincannon. Sirota turns back. Flings it out past his own blue line. Korshkov touched it on a delayed offside, so we get a whistle stopping play. Pavel Korshkov, the Russian, the youngest player on the IceRays this season at 17 years of age. He'll turn 18 on March 16th. Born in the year 2000. It's hard to make you listeners out there feel old. He's the only player on the IceRays who can say that. Connor Stewart will leave it back to Drew Lennon. And Miller is in the F1 on the forecheck. 4 minutes to play in the second period. Your score 2-2. Puck's flipped out to Biondo, taken by Linden, who crosses over the blue line, drops it for Petrell, who missed the left post with his shot. Lennon overskates it, but Stewart will cover ground. Connor Stewart flung it to Biondo. Stewart's got it now on the right wing. Popped up to Taylor, who slapped it out of there quickly thereafter. And Stewart lost it to Grayson Gavin. Taylor, Yanni. Taylor again in his own zone. Starts pedaling out of it. Feeds one cross ice off the skates and stick of Miller. No icing here. Lennon's got to make a play on it. He turns with it behind his own net. Losing an edge was Miller. Youngworth on the forecheck trying to steal and center, but it went off of his stick and bounced into the left corner again. Sirota blasted around the wall. Kept by Coffey. Coffey shovels it to the right wall for Youngworth, who's tied up by Linden, who steals the puck from him. Buttrell met by St. Ange at center ice near the boards. Acioli to Coffey now. 3 minutes to play in the second. Still, we've got a 2-2 game at the ABC. Your shots 27-14 favoring Lone Star. Coffey and DeMizio, your IceRays goal scorers tonight. Biondo and Russell doing the honors for Dan Wildfong and the Brahmas. Coffey whips it off the glass, and it's settled down in the neutral zone. Wyatt Matthews has it. Gave it on over to Connor Pooley. Into the zone, he skates it with Coffey defending, and Pooley's backhander misses the net. Squirts free out to center ice. Riley St. Ange tapped it up in the air and tried to glove it down. He turns, missed both of his forwards. It went right between both of them, and here comes Connor Pooley on the counterattack. Delayed offside, the whistle blows. Michael Miggins caught the Brahmas on that offside play. That offside brought to you by Ad Liance. We get a stoppage of play with 2:19 to go in the second period. Faceoff will be near the IceRays penalty box now, or the Brahmas penalty box. Not been too many penalties called in this game. Only been 2 power plays aside. Both teams 1 for 2 on the night. The Brahmas have just iced the puck, and this icing is brought to you by Hard Knocks Sports Bar and Grill. 6 games in the month of February here at the American Bank Center, folks, and there's a promotion for each one of them. Tonight being Fan Appreciation Night, Girl Scout Night tomorrow, Boy Scout Night on Friday, February 16th, Hockey and Heels Night on Saturday, February 17th, Catholic Diocese Night on Friday, February 23rd, and Heart Night benefiting the American Heart Association on Saturday, February 24th. That weekend against Amarillo, the IceRays will be wearing special American Heart Association jerseys, and will donate $7,500 from the proceeds to the American Heart Association. The live auction will be after that Saturday night game against Amarillo, down at the bottom of section 112. 100 seconds to go in period 2. John Russell flips it towards the middle. It lands on net. Stick save by Acton. Fortunately for him, Adamo never saw it land until it was too late, or he might have gotten a good shot off there. I don't know if that was Russell's intention. Not very often do you see a play like that. Larry Youngworth, really the only IceRay you see try it on occasion. You have to have an outstanding amount of puck control and hand-eye coordination and poise to make a play like that. Sometimes you'll see Youngworth try to pass it in the air to himself. Other times you'll see him try to pass to a teammate. McCary hustles over to the right wall and slams it off of it. St. Ange accelerates it further and guns it down in the right corner. St. Ange stops with it. $1:22 to go in period number 2. 2-2 your score. Finally they move the puck, but the Brahmas have it. It's Montembeau with it behind his own net, taking a few hacks at by Riley St. Ange. Scott looking to the front, trying to center. He had McCary, but the puck went off of a Lone Star stick. McCary falls down. Looks like he might have been checked by a high stick, nothing called. Frankie Trezera in front of the IceRays bench with it. Big check by Riley St. Ange, who lost his stick. Hallbauer gets back onto his skates and starts the rush in into the offensive zone. Couldn't stick handle away. A good defensive effort made by Ryan Rosenberg to knock it off of the dangerous defenseman, Kyle Hallbauer. This should be an icing called against Lone Star. It will be. And another Hard Knocks Sports Bar and Grill icing is called. The Rays will get an offensive zone chance. Brad Flynn sends out the Youngworth line with Brendan Miller and presumably Grayson Gavin. That will be the case. And Gavin will take the draw against Michael Montembeau. An exhausted Brahmas line out there right now, defensive zone. Youngworth put it on net, sticked aside by Gibson. Here comes Lone Star. They could get a 2-on-1. Hustling back Youngworth, Biondo right side to center, hoping for Hallbauer, who's knocked down by Youngworth on the back check. Good effort by Larry Youngworth, who's not known as a very defensive player, but he definitely defied that stereotype just moments ago. Miller dropping it off. Right half wall, it's shot from Gavin. It's stopped by Mitchell Gibson. Youngworth collects it in the left corner, tries to turn it through the slot. He succeeds. ACLA blasting it, stopped by Gibson, who squats on it. What an excellent shift by Larry Youngworth, playing a 200-foot shift. Just then going coast to coast to defend a potential 2-on-1 rush against. Break it up from Kyle Hallbauer. Ryan Rosenberg moments earlier defending him on that 1-on-1. And then Youngworth catching up to him from behind on the back check. And then eventually setting up Acioli for a pretty open opportunity above the left circle. But his slap shot was just stopped by Gibson moments ago. 5.2 seconds remain, and the IceRays have pulled their goaltender. Jacob Acton is on the Rays bench. They're going to try to go with a sixth attacker and get a very aggressive strategy going here, but Lone Star won the face-off, and that'll nullify that attempt. Well, the IceRays did manage to tie things up after falling behind in this second period. Both teams have led in this game, but now we're in a 2-2 stalemate. The IceRays scoring the lone first period goal off of a Blake Coffey slap shot from the blue line at 6:26 into the contest. To start the second period, it was all Lone Star. They had the edge in play and shots. Scored a shorthanded goal and a power play goal within a few minutes, but the IceRays never quit on their very next power play after giving up a shorthanded goal on their previous one. They scored to tie things up. It was Jason DiMizio with his 6th goal of the season to make it a 2-2 score once again. DiMizio's tally coming at 9:51 into period 2. Lone Star's goals before that coming at 2:43 and 4:44, so within 2 minutes and 1 second. The Brahmas scored both a shorthanded and a power play goal, but again, DiMizio had an answer, and we're all tied up 2-2. We've seen so far in this game, Lone Star seems to be really aggressive. They want to push the issue. They want to force trouble for the IceRays and force turnovers deep in their own zone. They're taking risks. They're jumping in. Their defensemen are not being afraid to seal the boards and pinch a few steps down the wall at the risk of potentially conceding an odd man rush or even a breakaway. That hasn't stopped them, and so far it hasn't haunted them either. There have not been a lot of odd man rushes for the IceRays. There haven't been any breakaways for the IceRays. So what Lone Star is doing has been working for them for the most part, because not only have they not been too atrocious defensively, Gibson hasn't really had to clean up too many messes, but they're also leading the IceRays in shots 28-17. So maybe in the third period, we'll see if the IceRays try to catch them once or a few more times than they have been, because they're relying so much on one defenseman to read the play perfectly and position himself even more perfectly to prevent a potential odd man rush against. And so far, the Brahmas defensemen have done that to a T. But one misstep or one mistake on those plays, and boom, it's a headache and a half for Mitchell Gibson to deal with. So we'll see if the IceRays can force the issue a little bit more and force a mistake on Lone Star's part, a team infamous for making very few mistakes. But should they make one with the way that they're playing, the IceRays will get a few really good scoring opportunities from it, there's no question. There were a few instances, you have to give some credit to Lone Star, but there were a few instances in which they did get pretty fortunate that the puck bounced the way it did, and had it not, there would have been trouble brewing going the other direction. So we'll see if the IceRays can reap any rewards from that. In the meantime, we're going to take a pause here on the IceRays Broadcast Network here on HockeyTV.com and on YouTube this evening. Thanks for joining us on your Thursday night, everyone. Hope you're enjoying it. The IceRays tied up with the third place Lone Star Brahmas, a couple of South Division rivals who went all the way to the South Division Championship last season and played each other for the right to represent the South Division at the Robertson Cup semifinals. We're going to take a timeout here at the ABC, folks. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Nickel is home of the Guaranteed the South classified ad, covering all Corpus Christi communities within a 75-mile radius. Place your personal classified with us, and if it hasn't sold in 4 weeks, we'll run it for free until it sells. Visit us in the Gulfway Shopping Center or give us a call at 361-980-0008 or online at cc.thriftynickel.com. Thrifty Nickel, where you get nationwide coverage with hometown service.
Weight, get fit, or just improve your overall fitness? Then train with a professional at Sports Fitness Solutions. Former IceRays player and current team strength and conditioning coach Jeff Pelucio can help you reach your goals with a specific program built just for you. Choose from one-on-one or group training sessions. Sports Fitness Solutions can help you lose weight, increase energy, build muscle, and get you feeling better today. Call Jeff with Sports Fitness Solutions today at 774-0874. That's 774-0874. And train like the IceRays do.
Along with your favorite IceRays wherever you go by linking up to the IceRays social media arsenal. There are more ways to follow the action than ever before, with pictures, news, videos, and exclusive content, including interviews and giveaways. Give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram at Corpus Christi IceRays, and on Twitter, Vine, Periscope, and now Snapchat at Go IceRays. The IceRays social media arsenal, the ultimate coverage of IceRays hockey.
It's a luxury of bayfront living at Sendera Bay Point. Located on Enos Jocelyn Road, Sendera Bay Point is newly renovated with upgraded units featuring granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and designer lighting. Enjoy an on-site masseuse, waterfront yoga classes, water aerobics, fitness boot camps, poolside towel service, Saturday morning homemade resident breakfast, and of course, stunning bay views. Visit SenderaBayPoint.com for more details. Mention this ad for a waived application fee. That's SenderaBayPoint.com. Radiology and Imaging is the official imaging center of your IceRays. The Best of the Best award winner 7 years in a row provides diagnostic imaging services in a caring, comforting patient environment with leading-edge imaging technology. Their extensive expertise in medical imaging allows them to not only give physicians and patients the very best in service and care, but your IceRays as well. So the next time you need imaging done, call Radiology and Imaging at 853-4503. That's 853-4503. Island Villa Apartments offers residents a prime location that leaves you minutes away from shopping, entertainment, restaurants, and beaches. Residents will discover a life of splendor with 2 pools, a workout facility, outdoor grilling needs, along with comfortable apartments located just minutes from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Island Villa Apartments are located off SBID and Nile Drive. Call Island Villa Apartments today at 994-1630 and set up your personal tour. 994-1630. Island Villa Apartments.
Vehicle wraps and graphics, the biggest, the brightest, and the best in the coastal bend. Gulf Coast Graphics wraps, make signs, stickers, banners, vehicle magnets, and t-shirts too. Go on, we dare you to stand out in the marketplace. Call the Wrap Masters at Gulf Coast Graphics. Call 854-0213, 854-0213.
Air is Corpus Christi's newest place for fun. 30,000 square feet of trampoline park with foam pits, slam ball, a ninja courts, and dodgeball. A place to let your inner spirit soar. Show you've got game. Harness your inner ninja and turn up the competition. For parties from 5 to 500, kids, corporate, and adult team building, it's the #1 place for fun in Corpus Christi. Get out. Get active. Get air. 4701 South Staple Street in Corpus Christi.
Cell phones.
We're unable to take your call at the moment. Please leave your name, number, and a brief
When time is money and the message is urgent, you need two-way radio.
Unit 5, return to yard immediately.
Safe, reliable, distracted, driver-legal two-way radio from A&B Communications with built-in fleet tracking.
Units 14 and 22, assist Unit 5 at well site 108.
Hand units, vehicle-mounted base stations, fleet tracking, on-site or wide-area communications for business. Online at abcom.net. That's abcomm.net. When you need to
Talk business.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on your Thursday night. It's a 2-2 game here at the American Bank Center. You're listening to IceRays Hockey on the IceRays Broadcast Network on HockeyTV.com and on YouTube. Alex Von Keutel with you as always. It was a good start for Corpus Christi, who had been struggling in game 1s of weekend series of late. Their previous 2 first games of series resulted in a 6-2 defeat, and both of those games were answered by a hard-fought, low-scoring victory in which they responded against Shreveport to split the series. The 1-0 Jake Acton's first shutout, the IceRays' first shutout coming off of Jake Acton's back, and a week after that in Odessa, Blake Coffey's game-winning overtime goal on his 20th birthday to propel the IceRays to a series split there as well. And tonight, it's been a different story. The IceRays have not really struggled, certainly not to the extent that they had in the previous couple of weekends in game 1. It's been a very evenly played game for the most part. Lone Star getting the edge in scoring chances, but Jacob Acton has been rock solid in net for Corpus Christi. He stopped 26 of 28 shots. His counterpart tonight, Mitchell Gibson, the Harvard commit, has stopped 15 of 17. And the last goal that went in on him came on an IceRays power play. The first power play the Rays had, things didn't go too well. They failed to convert. They conceded a shorthanded goal to Julian Biondo, assisted by Kyle Hallbauer, who skated on the right side, flung it off of Acton's stick, bounced perfectly off his stick right to Julian Biondo, who I don't think even shot it. It just bounced in off of him. To Hallbauer's credit, it was a well-timed and well-placed low shot. He was not intending to score there at all. He was just trying to get a rebound for Biondo, which he did. And then just 2 minutes later, Russell scored on a Lone Star power play after excellent movement in the offensive zone. Tour Linden, Stephen Ipri getting assists on that goal, scored by Russell. And then Jason DeMizio, about 5 minutes after that, the Rays went to a power play after Aiden Spellacy was found guilty of tripping just 20 seconds into their AEP Texas power play. The IceRays made the Brahmas pay for that. And Ipri, who assisted on Lone Star's power play goal just 5 minutes earlier, watched helplessly from the sin bin as the IceRays tied the score. 2-2, now your tally. It's a stalemate here at the American Bank Center. A well-fought second period by both sides. And we'll see what the third brings our way. In the meantime, let's take a look. The only other game in the NAHL tonight, Brookings in Bismarck. That game is worth watching, it seems, as well. 3-3 the score up at the VFW Sports Center in Bismarck, North Dakota. The couple of Central Division rivals up there squaring off tonight. That division is the only one that might be as tight as the South. There are 5 teams within 12 points of each other, 3 teams within 3 points of each other for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. Bismarck in that 5th spot right now, so every game matters. And for Brookings, they are trailing. They're in 6th. So they're the only one sort of on the outside looking in that Central Division playoff picture. Points very important for both of those sides out there in the capital of North Dakota tonight. Corpus Christi right now in the South with a 7-point edge over the Amarillo Bulls, who've really got to turn up the heat if they want to catch the IceRays for the final playoff spot. But it will not be easy. The Bulls have a lot of road games coming up, and the Rays with nothing but home games for the foreseeable future. They won't be on the road again until March 9th, until they will play Amarillo at the bullpen one last time this season. Amarillo will come back the following weekend, and that will wrap up the head-to-head season series between Corpus Christi and the Bulls. So 4 more games between Amarillo and Corpus at the ABC, 2 more at the ACC, the Amarillo Civic Center, for the rest of this season. So they're going to develop quite the rivalry, playing each other 6 times. There are only 18 games remaining here this regular season for the IceRays, this one included, and a third of them will be against Amarillo. So again, 2-2 your score, IceRays Brahmas here at the American Bank Center. We've got about 6 minutes or so, folks, before third period hockey is underway. So until then, don't go too far. We'll be back before you know it.
IceRays fans, it's time for the members' first Pay a Person winner. Rose Reese, you are tonight's members' first Pay a Person winner. Members First Credit Union will mail your gift card to the address on your entry within the next week. So watch your mailbox and enjoy your $20 Visa gift card from Members First Credit Union. Hey fans, make some noise! Let's welcome back your Corpus Christi IceRays! Tonight's third period is presented by First Title.
Okay, well, welcome back, everybody. We've got a 2-2 stalemate here at the ABC. 3 second period goals. Jason DeMizio's tally answering the 2 special teams goals coming from Brahmas. All 3 of the second period scores came in special teams. Lone Star first with a shorthanded strike coming off of Julian Biondo. The next coming 2 minutes later off of a John Russell tap-in goal. Linden and Ipri on the assists from that off of a good movement in the offensive zone on a Brahmas power play. But the IceRays had an answer on a power play of their own. About 5 minutes and change after that, Jason DeMizio with his 3rd power play goal of the season, his 6th overall, tapping it past Mitchell Gibson after a beautiful crisp pass sent his way from Matt Acioli from the right circle. Wilhelm getting the secondary helper on that strike. And we've got a 2-2 score. The only goal not to be scored in special teams tonight came in the first period off a Blake Coffey slap shot from a good 55-plus feet from straight away. Deep range. Linden will center it. Good stick lift by Youngworth to pry it away from Austin Bottrell. Larry Youngworth's had an outstanding defensive game tonight. Mitchell Gibson leaves it for Connor Stewart, who couldn't clear it past Acioli. And Grayson Gavin shovels the puck below the net. Youngworth centers. Miller scores! What a pass by Larry Youngworth, and what a goal by Brendan Miller! The Ice Rays have regained the lead just 33 seconds into period 3. Miller's third goal against the Brahmas this season. You're going to see on your Bud Light replay here. Miller's 11th goal overall. Beat Gibson, low blocker side. What an excellent pass by Larry Youngworth. That's just a hard-working goal. Caught the Brahmas sleeping a little bit. He went in behind the net, caught them a little bit lackadaisical and maybe not paying as close attention as they should have been deep in their own territory like that. And Youngworth and Miller made them pay.
IceRays fans, that's a Corpus Christi IceRays goal scored by number 14, Brendan Miller with an assist.
And McCary redirects the puck into the Lone Star zone. Hallbauer guides it on out. Here comes Johnny Russell on the left wing side. Russell trying to dip the shoulder and drive the net, couldn't tuck it in. There was no daylight whatsoever on Acton's short side. Hallbauer swivels away from St. Ange and pulls the trigger. Pad save by Acton. Nice move by Hallbauer, who's had a good night for the Brahmas so far. He's been on the ice for both Lone Star goals. Ipri skating out to center with it, shoveling one, rink wide, a little bit too far outside of the reach of Adamo. And Yanni will take it back behind his own goal line and wait. A minute and a half has gone by. It's been a good start to this third period for Corpus Christi, who have the lead since the first time, or for the first time since very early into period 2. 3-2 now your score. Grayson Gavin's got it. He will just deliver it into the left corner. Gibson decides to let his defenseman take command of it. Anton Sandberg is met by Miller. Will feed Wilhelm at the line. Couldn't get his shot through Frankie Trezera. Miller rescues it down to Gavin. Gavin reversed it to Youngworth, who's sealed off by Stewart. Connor Stewart. Youngworth battling hard, ends up with it on his stick, but he lost possession, and the Brahmas have cleared it. Rosenberg turns to go get it. Shoots it off the glass over a jumping Trevor Zenas. And another ex-Jackalope, Connor Stewart. Fed it to Wyatt Matthews, the ex-Wichita Falls Wildcat. Zenas. 3 players on the ice for Lone Star with experience on other South Division teams right now. As Roof pursuing it up the middle. Met by Lennon, and not sure what that horn was for. The puck was clearly loose, but somebody wants play to stop here. There looks like there's a loose pane of glass down in the penalty box, it appears, so some American Bank Center rink staff members are being called out to see to the problem. The Ice Rays have just regained the lead about 2 minutes ago, 33 seconds into the third period. Brendan Miller with his 11th goal of the season, Youngworth on the assist, and the Rays up 3-2. 2.5 minutes into period 3. While they see to this problem, folks, we're going to take a brief timeout on the Ice Rays Broadcast Network. All right, we're back. They've taken care of that issue very quickly. And Halford on the back check steals it from Aiden Spellacy and reverses it now for Blake Coffey. Coffey's pass up to Noah Roof. Halford is handcuffed by Pletsky in the Bowling Green commit. Trying to pry the puck free. It looked like Roof just fell, landed on his helmet. Acton will glove a long flipper from Jacob Sirota and take a defensive zone faceoff. Yanni with his stick out, trying to jostle it away from John Russell. It's Stephen Ipri now in the left corner. Cycles it to Justin Adamo. Angling it off the board. Stewart a long slap shot, missed the net, short side. There's going to be a penalty called here. There was a battle in front of the crease clearly, or in the crease rather. And John Russell was down, and I think Connor Yanni's going to go to the box. Kalen Taylor's not happy with that call. They're calling interference against Connor Yanni. Normally there's a gray area in the slot like that, or in the crease. Players can get away with quite a bit more than they would elsewhere on the ice. They're giving them much more lenient whistle in situations like that, and a lot goes uncalled, but not that. Yanni falling victim to the call, and the Rays going back to the Republic Services penalty kill for the third time tonight. 1 for 2. Hallbauer screenshot, scores. 4 seconds into the Brahmas power play, and they're 2 for 3 on the man advantage tonight. 3-3 your score. And they're showing the wrong replay, but what happened was Kyle Hallbauer had the puck on his stick at the left point right after a Brahmas offensive zone faceoff win, immediately slung it on net through a screen. I don't think Acton saw it, and it beat in blocker side, maybe 5-hole, tough to tell. But Lone Stars just retied the game 4 seconds into their third power play of the game. They're now 2 for 3 on the night. And the IceRays penalty kill struggling tonight. Coffey gains the red line and flings it in from there. It's stopped by Gibson. 4 minutes into the third period. Been a pretty frantic start to period 3, a goal on each side. Austin Bottrell in front of his own bench. Motors out to center with it. Chips it into the left corner where Linden can play it. He taps it along for Biondo. Calling for it is Bottrell. Biondo instead just turns away from Pavel Korshkov and goes behind the net with the pass. Linden's pass goes off of Novo, who accidentally just cleared it directly out of play. Went off the top of the glass and just barely skimmed over it. And the referee saying that it deflected and that it was not cleared directly out of play. Robert Babcock IV explaining that call to Dan Wildfong and to Brad Flynn. Now he skates over to the timekeeper's box. So we're going to take a 30-second pause here for the Whataburger Minute of Madness. We'll be right back, folks. Clean win by Grayson Gavin. He's done a nice job in the faceoff circle in his IceRays debut. Beating a very formidable centerman and Tour Linden a number of times. He right now is trying to help his team move the puck. He succeeds. He swivels away from Blake Coffey. Linden and Coffey still fighting for it. Backdoor pass, and the shot goes wide through the crease by Biondo. What a play by Linden. But Biondo didn't have much of an angle there. Linden staying on it and turns away from Coffey. Youngworth springs the puck free. Out with it comes Miller, outnumbered 3-1, so he'll just chop it past everybody into the corner. Coffee and Linden into a good scrap in front of the IceRays bench. Acioli stops and lets Biondo skate past him. 5 minutes and change have expired here at the American Bank Center to start period 3. A goal's been scored by each side in the closing stanza. Rosenberg flops it in from center. Kicked aside by Gibson. Into the right corner, it'll bounce. Hallbauer barely clears the zone. Sandberg has it now, and Hallbauer again. Feeds it up. Adamo gets the pass from Ipri. Adamo pins his man to the boards. It's Julian McCary, or rather Kalen Taylor trying to move it. Adamo lost it to McCary, who will shovel it out past St. Ange. Hallbauer feathers it over to Anton Sandberg. And from the red line, he will clear it. And Russell meeting Yanni in the corner. 6 minutes have gone by in the third period. Just 33 seconds into it. Brendan Miller scored his 11th goal on the season just 3 days after his 21st birthday. Brendan Miller turning 21 years of age on Monday this week and celebrates just 3 days later with a goal. Larry Youngworth with an excellent pass to set him up for it, but just 4 seconds into a Connor Yanni interference penalty, the Brahmas tied things up with their second power play goal of the night. Not sure if they credited Hallbauer or Stephen Ipri, who was there in the vicinity trying to deflect it. Ipri's been penalized a couple times this evening. Roof blocks the slap shot by Wyatt Matthews. And flings it into the right corner. Matthews is after it and reverses it. And there will be a penalty called against the Brahmas defenseman. Will it be against No, it won't be against the defenseman. It will be against Chase Pletsky for interference. The IceRays having converted on their last power play. Can they do it again and mimic the Brahmas both times? Lone Star scoring a power play goal in period 2. The Rays on their very next man advantage return the favor with a power play goal of their own. Will we get a case of deja vu here? IceRays 1 for 2 on the AEP Texas power play tonight. Grayson Gavin, Riley St. Ange, Brendan Miller, Larry Youngworth, and Blake Coffey are the participants. The puck drops. Gavin with a clean win on the draw. Coffey couldn't quite hold it at the line. It was a bit of a wobbler, had some difficulty with it. He's got to defend Linden here. Linden with a toe jag. Good stick by Coffey. The two of them have gone head-to-head a few times in this period. And the puck goes out of play, so we get a stoppage. Faceoff will be near the IceRays penalty box. Bounces to Biondo, who's already got one shorthanded goal tonight, but he couldn't get a second on that shot. Here comes Riley St. Ange down his off wing with Youngworth breaking down the middle. He'll pop one into the corner. Miller stepping in left corner. Got Biondo on his left, turns away from the pressure. Youngworth's got it and surveys behind the net. Couldn't find a way to get it in front to a teammate, and the Brahmas have cleared it. Quarter of this power play has been killed off as Coffey takes it behind his own net with Spellacy in the F1 on the other side of Acton. Coffey feeds it up to Larry Youngworth on the right side. Cross ice pass. St. Ange motoring in down the left wing. He turns with it and shovels it back to the point. Coffey hoping for St. Ange on the return. It was outside of his reach. St. Ange did nicely to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Miller working for it with Youngworth, who carries behind the net now. Hallbauer had it chopped at by Grayson Gavin, who kicks it up to his stick and works it back to the line for Coffey. St. Ange left circle for Grayson Gavin on his backhand, shovels it towards the net. It was blocked in front. And Gavin now carries into the right corner with it. Dropped for Miller. Fed back to the point again. Coffey. Miller, right half wall. On the edge of the circle. Coffey with a slap shot. Missed the net. St. Ange collects the carom. Miller had it pop up high off his stick. Coffey settles it down and feeds St. Ange at the right half wall. The Brahmas getting passive in their penalty kill box. They're pretty exhausted here. Coffee, Youngworth, one-timer stopped by the pads of Gibson. And Hallbauer carries into the left corner with it. He's outnumbered by a pair of white sweaters. It squirts loose. Wyatt Matthews softly sending one off the corner boards. And the Brahmas drop it back to Wyatt. He's chipped it off the glass and cleared it. Coffee lets it go past him. And Acton will stop it in his net. 11.5 to play in the third period. Time's about to expire here on this AEP Texas power play. And the IceRays drop to 1 for 3 on the night. Drew Lennon feeds one around. Good back check by Halford. Fed on back to Kalen Taylor. Now Connor Yanni gets the D-to-D pass. DeMizio redirects it into Lone Star territory. Stewart reverses it, and now it's Drew Lennon. Halford picking up the pressure in the corner, but the Brahmas have cleared it past both him and Yanni. DeMizio covers ground for Yanni and feeds it over to Taylor, who will return it. Taylor up the left wing. Fed it off of Halford's stick. He redirects it into Lone Star territory. We're approaching the halfway point of the third period. Both teams have a goal in this period, and both have 3 in total so far in this game. It's been a back and forth tilt. Both teams have led. But for the majority of this contest, the game's been tied. And finally, the puck's been frozen along the near half wall, so we get a whistle. 10.5 to play in the third. 3-3 your score. 31-21 your shots, favoring Lone Star. Section 113, the winners of tonight's Whataburger Minute of Madness contest. Cam Dykstra dropping the puck. Koreshkov winning the draw over Stephen Ipri, and Coffey gets it in front of the Lone Star bench. Fires it wide of Gibson's net. Sirota flings it high off the glass, patted down by Koreshkov. No hand pass. Sirota now for Sandberg. His fellow European defenseman has cleared it, and Coffey turns back with it. And what a night he's having. He will send it on over from his backhand up to Matt Acioli, who assisted on the IceRays lone power play goal tonight, coming off of Jason DeMizio's stick. He's been an effective power forward in power plays this season for Corpus Christi. Half of his goals have come on the man advantage. Here comes Ipri, turns. Stephen Ipri swiveling up to the deep slot, leaving it for a slap shot by Wyatt Matthews, which is off the mark. Hallbauer clears it into the IceRays zone. Blake Coffey turning away from Tour Linden. McCary springs one ahead for Koreshkov. Stolen from him and tapped out to center. Biondo. Hallbauer for Linden, who waits. Good stick check on the back check by McCary as the slap shot deflects wide. We've crossed the halfway point of the third period. 9:15 to go in regulation. 3-3 your score, and the whistle blows. And no signals from the referee. Might be an injured player along the far half wall that I can't quite see from my vantage point. Both penalty boxes are open right now, but there is nothing decided upon so far by the referee. You might confer with his linesman right now, Michael Miggins, over in front of the penalty boxes. Cynthia West, the Brahmas trainer, is down and tending to whichever player is down there. I can't tell, folks. He's too close to the boards. I can't see. But it doesn't look good for whichever unfortunate soul that is down there. We hope that he's okay. Update on the Bismarck-Brookings game, still tied at 3 with 12:41 to go in the third period. It's very quiet here in this building. You can sense the concern even from the IceRays fans. Because whoever's down has not moved. And I just saw Ryan Rosenberg go down the tunnel. His night is done. And finally, it's Austin Bottrell, it looks like, who's back on his skates, and he is limping. A 5-minute major was called against Ryan Rosenberg, who's had penalty trouble from time to time this season. Against Lone Star, it seems in particular. He already had 12 penalty minutes in this game for his checking from behind. And against Lone Star on the season, now he's up to 28 penalty minutes against the Brahmas alone. This being just his third game against them. And the IceRays will have to kill off a very long penalty. Bottrell now presumably sidelined for the rest of this game at least, based on the way he looked after that hit by Ryan Rosenberg. What bothers me is that there was no initial call on the play. Robert Babcock, the fourth, kept his arm down as Linden will fire a wrist shot from above the left circle. Getting a piece of it with the blocker was Jake Acton. Linden now working for it far half wall with Stephen Ipri. Linden cycling it back to the point. Good keep by Hallbauer. Ipri left wing. Linden left circle. Down to Ipri again. And working his way behind the net and feeding it up to Jakob Sirota at the point. Stephen Ipri right circle. Slew footing the call against Rosenberg. Sirota faked the one-timer, cuts into the slot, dropped it off. Linden right circle, backdoor. Hallbauer's one-timer, he scores. A great pass by Tor Linden from above the right circle to the bottom of the left circle, and Hallbauer tapped it in to a gaping net on the one-timer. It's another Lone Star power play goal, their third of the game, and they've still got 4:18 to go on the man advantage. As they've regained the lead, it's 4-3. This is Lone Star's first lead in the third period, and they've got a chance to really put the IceRays out of reach here on this power play, which will go on unimpeded for another 4 minutes. Demizio delivering a good, clean body check on the near half wall, and now he's in a tussle for possession in his own corner. And Trezera poking and prying away at his skates, trying to move it. Biondo up to Sandberg. Sandberg back to Biondo. From the right corner, carries in behind the net with it. Biondo rolls it up to Lennon at the point. Back to Biondo, who tapped it right back on the return. Right circle at Sandberg. Tried to feed it in front, hoping for a friendly stick. Didn't get one. And now it ricochets into the left corner. Biondo will tap it on back to the left side. Linden again, or rather Lennon, feeds it behind the net. Trezera cleared it around the wall. Sandberg slid it over. Lennon's got it left point. His pass broken up by Demizio, goes off his stick. The IceRays haven't cleared the zone yet on this PK. Sandberg right point for Adamo. Rolls back up to Sandberg at the right point again. 3 minutes to go on this Brahmas power play. The Rays have finally cleared the puck down the length of the ice. Gibson's out of his net. He tries to catch the IceRays in the midst of a line change as he feeds Tor Linden with a beautiful pass, and it's dropped off. Russell trying to pull the string back and fire, but he lost possession, and the referee, Robert Babcock, lost sight of the puck, so he blew a quick whistle, and the Rays catch a bit of a break. 6:57 to go in the third. Lone Star with a 4-3 lead, and 2:44 still remaining on their power play. The penalty called for slew footing against Ryan Rosenberg, a rare call you don't see made often, but it took Austin Bottrell out of the game. Hallbauer. Now we get a penalty called against Tor Linden, I believe, for interference. Must have missed something there. But Tours skating to the box, and he's going to take a seat for a couple of minutes. So we go to the 4-on-4, and that definitely helps the IceRays out. They still had more than half of that 5-minute major remaining to kill off, and now they'll get to return to even strength, at least for the next 2 minutes, for a 4-on-4 opportunity. Followed by a 41-second Lone Star power play after. And because Rosenberg's been ejected from the game, Novo is serving in the box in his stead. Grayson Gavin able to beat Aiden Spellacy in the faceoff circle, but Montembeau ends up with it on his stick. He's knocked down. Good check by Acioli, who starts the transition. Acioli dropping it off. Youngworth left circle. Whiffed on the shot. It rolled on him at the last second. Fortunate break for Lone Star. Spellacy mishandling it. And the puck slid up to Youngworth now right side. Fakes a slap shot. Curl and dragging a shot. Blocked away by Gibson. Made a nice save on the IceRays' leading goal scorer this season, Larry Youngworth, with 22 on the season. Stewart looked like he was offside. Nothing called. Weaves in behind the net and waits. Connor Stewart up to Hallbauer. Shovels it over Montembeau's glove. Wilhelm is checked from behind by Adamo, and a penalty will be called. The raise to a 4-on-3 power play. Sure, that's not something they expected to get after that 5-minute major was called against Rosenberg. Adamo being penalized for checking from behind. And the IceRays will actually go to a brief power play here, 1 minute and 17 seconds long. 4-on-3 power plays are pretty rare. But they're very often effective. Some players probably prefer them over 5-on-3s just because there's a little bit less madness and there's so much room. And it's going to be Spellacy, Hallbauer, and Lennon, some of Dan Wildfong's best defensive players, tasked with shutting this down. The IceRays countering with their best offensive players. Riley St. Ange, Blake Coffey, and Brendan Miller out there right now. We can assume Larry Youngworth will make his way out there at some point. Pletzky skating over to the Brahmas sin bin to serve the penalty on Adamo's behalf. He was given something extra. And Wildfong is screaming. And Robert Babcock IV trying to get his attention. Play will resume here. Miller will take the draw against Aiden Spellacy. Spellacy beat him, and Hallbauer gets it on his stick. He's able to clear over Coffey and down. Coffey begins the rush up the ice. Up to Riley St. Ange in the neutral zone, dropping it Miller left side, back to Coffey, who tapped it into the zone, deep and behind the net. St. Ange cycles one around. Youngworth at the right point. Got Coffey on his left. Gives it to Miller, who turns it. Good cycle of the wagons by the IceRays. St. Ange coming off the boards with it. Dropped it back. Miller across to Coffey, who couldn't pull the trigger on the one-timer. The puck wasn't quite in his wheelhouse. It went off his left skate, and the puck's been cleared. 34 seconds remaining on this 4-on-3. Acton's got it out of his net right now. He will leave it stationary. It's going to be scooped up now by Coffey. Coffey closing in down the right wing. He shoots it on net, easily scooped up by Mitchell Gibson's glove, and he will take a whistle. 18 seconds remain on the 4-on-3. And we'll go back to the 4-on-4 after that. It's going to be Tour Linden let out of the box once this 4-on-3 power play expires. This IceRays power play is brought to you by AEP Texas. Grayson Gavin to take the draw. Tie up by Spellacy. The Rays end up with it. Wilhelm at the line. Wilhelm wrist shot blocked by the first man in front of him and gets cleared past Acioli. McCary steps in on his off wing, dropping it to Gavin at the left point. A nice move, gets the puck free. The Ice Rays with some numbers on the side, but it's been cleared all the way down, and Acton will take a whistle. He had Linden closing in on him. The 4-on-3 is over. We're going to a 35-second 4-on-4, after which Rosenberg's 5-minute major penalty for slew footing will expire, and Matt Novo, who's serving the penalty on his behalf, will be let out of the box. 3 seconds after which Justin Adamo's penalty will expire. Biondo ends up with the puck after the faceoff. Wheels into the right half wall with it. Takes it wide and throws it through the crease. Tapped along by Linden. Lennon steps in, gives it back to Linden. And Wilhelm will feed Acioli, both of whom assisted on the Ice Rays' lone power play goal tonight. Acioli down the right side, tries to pass it to himself. He's held up a tad by Lennon. Goes into the corner with it. Lennon turning with it. And the puck slides up to Acioli, who will try to tap it back to Scott. He is checked. And here come the Brahmas on a potential 2-on-1. Biondo's got Linden with him. Biondo in front for Linden. It tips on net, stopped by Acton, who then punched it into the corner. And Scott will take it out of harm's way. We return to 5-on-5 finally. All that open ice has just been clogged up a little bit by the 3 extra skaters that we have on the ice now. We'll see if that's the case for the remainder of the 4 minutes which remain in regulation time. The Ice Rays trailing 4-3 as Youngworth tried to slip away from Spellacy, who stays with him. And down the left side, it's brought by St. Ange. Couldn't squeeze past a hip check by Wyatt Matthews, who's delivered a couple of those tonight. Sirota in the near corner with Matthews on his other side. Comes loose. Youngworth with a nice move, cuts to the inside. Youngworth with it on his stick, finally had it poked off by Trevor Zenas. Excellent move by Youngworth, but he tried to go the entire way and eventually lost it. Trezera. Sirota, long shot, blocked by the traffic. Yanni takes a jab at it. It's kept in and fired from a tough angle. Easily stopped by Acton. And Sirota's shot was blocked by Caitlin Taylor. Yanni for St. Ange. Lost possession. It's turned over. Shot off the side of the net by Frankie Trezera. That was a close call. Following that turnover, the Ice Rays are exhausted. St. Ange can barely skate. Puck's been shot off of his pads and out to center ice. And the Rays can finally get a much-needed line change underway here. Under 3 minutes to play in regulation. The Brahmas have a 4-3 advantage. Yanni for Halford. Halford up towards DeMizio. Roof jammed it free, too far into his path. Sandberg broke it up. Coffey fires it deep into the Lone Star zone. Spellacy will clear it as far as Zenas in front of his own bench. Zenas has cleared it into the Ice Rays zone. Puck's been flown on net from center, sticked aside by Mitchell Gibson. And the Harvard commit tonight, 21 of 24 in net for Lone Star. Jake Acton, his counterpart, 33 of 37. 2 minutes remain as Coffey will settle it down at center ice. He slapped it ahead for Jason DeMizio. DeMizio airmails the puck into the left corner in the Lone Star zone. The Ice Rays have to score a goal in the next minute 55 against the stingiest defensive team in the NAHL, who for years are in the bottom 5 of the league in terms of goals allowed per season. Nice movement by the Ice Rays. Youngworth went to the outside for Grayson Gavin. It bounced off his stick, and the Brahmas have cleared it down. Linden is after it. Acton's out of his net. He will drop it behind for Connor Yanni. Left for Youngworth. Youngworth bounces one out to the neutral zone. Biondo taking over there. He's just flown it directly out of play, perhaps intentionally to get a whistle. Where will this faceoff take place? Will it be on the Lone Star side of center ice, or will it be in the Lone Star zone? And we'll a little bit surprised neither of these coaches seems to be using their timeout here. Brad Flynn's trying to get the attention of the officials. but I believe they're going to play on. No timeouts for either side. 1:16 remain in regulation time. Lone Star leading 4-3. Face-off will take place near the Lone Star penalty box. Finally, we get a whistle for a timeout. Dan Wildfong using his only timeout. So the Brahmas nursing a delicate 1-goal lead with just over a minute to play in regulation time. The goal came pretty early into their 5-minute major power play. The power play was a result of a Ryan Rosenberg slew foot, which I didn't see happen, unfortunately. I can't really attest to the validity of the call, but I do know that originally there was no motion or no sort of a hand gesture made by Robert Babcock IV to call Ryan Rosenberg for a penalty. And when he realized how severe the injury was, he called Rosenberg for a 5-minute major and ejected him from the game. So it very well could have been a legitimate call. It could have been a legitimate penalty. My question is, why didn't his arm go up immediately if that was the case? And just because there was an injury from it doesn't necessarily mean that it was a malicious and illegal hit. Sometimes a player just goes into the boards funny off of a clean hit and gets injured all the same. But now the IceRays have to make amends. They've got to level the score if they want to salvage at least a point from this game. Points becoming very important here as the season is starting to slowly come to an end. Just 18 games, including this one, remain for the IceRays to solidify their 4th spot in the South Division standings right now and solidify their positioning in the playoffs and perhaps at least increase it. As Coffey will take a long wrist shot, tipped by Miller, goes off the outside of the post. Excellent job by Coffey on getting that shot through. McCary now in the corner, cycling it down to Riley St. Ange. He's got Coffey open, feeds him at the point. Coffey returns it, St. Ange from the right half wall, back to McCary, up to the top. Coffey tees it up, St. Ange, one-timer, didn't get all the way through. It was tapped aside before it got to the net by Drew Lennon. St. Ange turns it towards the front, settled down by Grayson Gavin, whose shot is blocked. The puck was played by a high stick, according to the referee. And much to Grayson Gavin's dispute, the call will go against the IceRays. Didn't really look like a high stick there, but it's going to not only exit the Lone Star zone, but come all the way back into the IceRays zone, and Brad Flynn clearly not happy about that decision. Puck was played with a high stick of Grayson Gavin, so the faceoff comes all the way down into IceRays territory. 34.6 seconds remain. Lennon from the left point takes a long wrist shot through a screen, stopped by Acton's pad. Racing out with it is Coffey. Flings it down the ice, goes just wide of the goal. No icing here, the Brahmas have to play it. Lennon trying to turn away from Miller. It slid across into the near corner. Grayson Gavin steps in to try to keep it in the zone. The Brahmas have cleared it. This will be icing against Lone Star with a dozen seconds remaining. The IceRays have an empty net and 12 seconds and a 6th attacker to try to tie this game up. And Brad Flynn has just called his timeout. 4-3 your score. The IceRays have one last chance to tie the game. We'll be back in 30 seconds, folks. Okay, so the faceoff will be to Gibson's right. The newest addition to the IceRays, Grayson Gavin, tasked with winning the draw against Tour Linden. The puck drops, Gavin wins the draw. Youngworth's got a turn, he lets Coffey take it from the left point. Slaps a shot towards the net, gets blocked by Hallbauer. He tries to clear, settled by Coffey, who keeps it. Tries to feed Youngworth. Youngworth shoots through a screen, blocked in front side of the net. The shot denied by Gibson, and the Brahmas win. 4-3 your final score. Penalties proving to cost the IceRays tonight. 3 of the 4 goals they conceded came on Brahmas power plays. And Lone Star escaping the American Bank Center with a 4-3 regulation win over the IceRays tonight. It's a little bit difficult to say this, folks, but I think tonight the IceRays truly felt the absence of CJ Regula. Well, obviously they've got players coming in to replace him. That's why he was moved to begin with Kadlick coming on board now, with Adam Kadlick, who's expected to play tomorrow, and Grayson Gavin, who did an outstanding job tonight. But CJ Regula was just a face-off specialist, and a big part of the reason the IceRays were scored on so many times on the power play, on Lone Star power plays tonight, was because they struggled from time to time winning face-offs. Lone Star with a few experts, Tour Linden and Aiden Spellacy, and others who are very good in the circle at winning draws and establishing early puck possession. And certainly on Lone Star's second power play goal, the goal scored by Hallbauer, that might have been tipped by Ipri, it was inconclusive, but that one coming just 4 seconds into the man advantage after Connor Yanni was sent to the box. And that was just a clear-cut case of a face-off win followed by a goal 4 seconds later. And obviously you can pick apart any games and deal with hypotheticals and come up with your what-if scenarios for just about any win or loss, but I think it's fair to say that if CJ Regula were here, I don't think the Brahmas score 3 times on the power play. I just don't see it happening. It never happened once all season up until this point. And I don't think it's a coincidence the Rays lose one of their best penalty killers and the very next night give up 3 power play goals. It's obviously there will be an adjustment period. Garrett Halford, Grayson Gavin, and others are going to have to really step up and assume a very important role. Traditionally speaking, the teams that historically have the best success in the postseason and in deep runs don't have the best offensive numbers. They have the best defensive numbers. Those are normally the teams that win championships in hockey. And penalty kills, a successful penalty kill is miles more important than a successful power play. It's nice to have a successful power play, don't get me wrong, and it is important, it's good to have, but if you don't have a successful penalty kill, you're not going to go very far in the playoffs, plain and simple. And just look at any of the last 10 Stanley Cup champions over the last decade. If there's any common denominator you can find, I can almost promise you, if not their depth, it's the team's penalty kill and how good it was during the regular season and during the postseason. Those are the teams that win championships. It's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving. And that was the difference tonight. It's not that the IceRays were penalized too many times, it's that when they were, they couldn't find it within themselves to kill it off. And it just ended up being costly. The game-winning goal being decided pretty quickly into the 5-minute major, called for slew footing on Ryan Rosenberg. You got to give the Brahmas power play unit credit, of course. They did move the puck very well. You can't just solely pin blame on the IceRays PK, but Lone Star's power play, folks, has not been good this season. Coming into this game, they were 19th in the league, just under 18% on the season. So I think that's definitely going to be an area that the IceRays will want to work on, and they can't have too many more nights like that. But a lesson was certainly learned, and I think there were a lot of positives to be taken out of tonight. A new player joining the lineup, Grayson Gavin, and he seemed to mesh pretty well on the line with Larry Youngworth and Brendan Miller. I thought he did a solid job in the face-off circle. Unfortunately, I don't have access to, at least not direct access to winning percentages on face-offs. The coaches do an excellent job going behind the scenes and putting all those numbers together. The unsung hero statistics, face-off percentage, blocked shots, hits, etc. But I think it's safe to say Gavin had a pretty solid night in face-offs. And it's only a matter of time. He'll start developing some chemistry with his new line mates and teammates. Remember, folks, Lone Star did not make any deals at the trade deadline. They didn't have anybody who had to come in and make an adjustment. They've been playing together. Everyone on this roster has been there for a month or longer at least. And they also didn't have any sort of rust factor the IceRays might have had at the onset of this game due to the break that they had, a 12-game hiatus from hockey, or the 12-day hiatus, I should say. Nevertheless, they managed to score first. We're going to recap this game for you real quick, folks, before we let you get going. Blake Coffey scored at 6:26 into the contest with a slap shot from dead straightaway center near the blue line, beating Mitchell Gibson cleanly over the blocker and into the back of the net. Excellent, hard, heavy slap shot by Coffey to give the Rays a 1-0 lead. Then, at the end of the first period, the Rays killed off a penalty called for, a 4-on-4 was called between Pletzky and Yanni at the end of the first. Nothing came from that, and then early in period 2, it was all Lone Star. Within 2 minutes, Julian Biondo and John Russell teamed up to score a shorthanded and power play goal, respectively. Biondo striking for his 8th of the season, then Russell for his NAHL leading 25th of the campaign on the Brahmas power play. Demizio had an answer with a power play goal of his own halfway through regulation time. Acioli fed him a really nice pass from the right circle into the low slot, and Miz tapped it past Mitchell Gibson for his 6th goal of the season. Period 3, it only took 33 seconds before the Rays got onto the board. It was looking good for the IceRays. Larry Youngworth went behind the net, won the puck from the end boards, centered. Brendan Miller tapped it blocker side, left side of the net, and scored his 11th goal of the season. Grayson Gavin getting his first point as an IceRay with a secondary assist on that goal by Miller. Unfortunately, Lone Star would eat the IceRays up in the third period following that goal on power play. Stephen Ipri deflecting the shot just 4 seconds into the power play at 3:33, exactly 3 minutes later after Miller's goal, and 4 seconds after Yanni was sent to the box for holding. Ipri deflected Hallbauer's point shot and tied things up 3-3. Then it was Rosenberg getting himself into some trouble, a 20-minute penalty, a game misconduct called against the IceRays defenseman. He was ejected from the game. Hallbauer, again, making an excellent play and tapping it into the open net after Tor Linden fed him a circle-to-circle pass. Hallbauer with a really good night for Lone Star. He was on the ice for all 4 of their goals this evening. And the IceRays just couldn't come back from that. They had a 4-on-3 power play with a chance to tie the score, but couldn't quite convert. And Mitchell Gibson able to play well enough. He wasn't at his best tonight, but he was good enough to give the Brahmas a 4-3 regulation win. So we'll be right back here tomorrow night, folks. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast in spite of the outcome. Once more, the Brahmas with 4, the IceRays with 3. We hope to have you on board. If you can't make it to the American Bank Center tomorrow night for Girl Scout Night, we hope to have you on board with us. Again, we'll be broadcasting tomorrow night's game on HockeyTV.com and on YouTube. Puck drops at 7:05 p.m. You can expect the broadcast to air around 5 till 7, 6:55 or so. will start streaming. And we hope to have you on board with us as we close out the series between the IceRays and the Brahmas. Till then, so long, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday night.